Now it's time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
And a good Wednesday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man, John Kincade. And today I was able to walk outside in just a sweatshirt, even though it was 29 degrees. 29 degrees compared to 9 degrees is a major difference, Johnny. Good morning.
Yeah, and the thaw is happening. The thaw of good things. I talked about it yesterday. The thaw is happening.
You might be right because the Flyers finally get off the schneid yesterday, beating the Caps 4-2. Sixers, even without Joel Embiid, because the Warriors are without this guy named Steph Curry, they go out there and beat the Warriors 113-94. So another win for the Sixers.
Okay.
So I mean, things are looking good.
The thaw is happening. Now, we're just about to say goodbye to the Flyers for after tomorrow night. We're going to say goodbye to the Flyers for 3 weeks because the NHL has no idea about how to do a sport, but it's okay. Going to shut it down for 3 weeks. Right in the middle of the season.
I love the Hockey Olympics. I'm all for it.
So you'd be all for baseball shutting down in the middle of the season?
No, baseball's too long.
What do you mean?
Baseball's too long. Too hard to do that for baseball. Hockey, I'm all for it. Basketball, I'm all for it. Shut it down, middle of the season. Better than NBA Cups. Like nonsense.
The NBA Cups are regular season games. It doesn't shut down the season.
Yeah, but they're stupid.
I understand.
I don't like them.
It's ridiculous. The point of view is ridiculous on this.
So there will be Sixers and Flyers stuff to unpack because you dropped a couple of crumbs at the end of the show yesterday about the Flyers.
Crumbs they are.
And that story eventually went national. So we'll discuss that coming up later on this segment. But we will start with the Philadelphia Eagles this morning. Believe it or not, we got an Eagles topic to talk about. And Connor said it before the show even started. You know, there's been so much in Philadelphia, not necessarily so much good, but there has been so much in Philadelphia between the Phillies offseason, the Sixers making everybody happy, and then the Paul George stuff happens. The Flyers at one point making everybody happy, but then it took a complete opposite direction where they started losing game after game after game. And then you had like the A.J. Brown whispers and the Vic Fangio nugget. That we haven't really talked about the Eagles roster. The team that ended the season on an extremely disappointing note, losing in the first round of the playoffs, wild card weekend, to the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, the offensive coordinator search was a big talking point. But what offense is Sean Mannion going to be running? Because there are questions about this Eagles roster. So I want to play a clip for you that it's been burned into my brain, Johnny, since he said it. It is an Adam Schefter Wednesday today. But I'm going to take you back to Wednesday, January 14th. So sorry, even though you're talking about coming out of the thaw.
So you're taking us back 3 weeks.
I'm bringing you right back
3 weeks ago
to when all the crap started.
It's before the snow.
And after Wild Card Weekend, 3 days after the Eagles got eliminated from the playoffs. This was Adam Schefter on with us back on January 14th.
When you come up a season like this one, I don't know how it's going to go and where it's going to go. But when you come off a season like that ends the way it does, I expect there to be more change than people would expect. Just the way that they operate and the way they roll. When they don't achieve results, they double up efforts to make sure there are results the next year. And they do have a lot of money tied up in certain areas and key financial decisions to make. And my guess is whatever you could imagine for this offseason to look like, it'll be busier and more active than that. That's my belief.
So let's go down
busier and
memory
more
lane.
active than that.
Let's go down memory lane after that date. Joe Sanliquido's story comes out that A.J. Brown has been requesting trades since week 3. There's a lot of people out there that don't believe it or don't want to believe it, but there is a lot of smoke, and every single
He's
national
been requesting trades.
Every national reporter at this point is saying it's going to happen. Brandon Lee Gowan a couple of weeks ago on the station with Middays with Mark said 0% chance he's back, right? I saw Diana Rossini, Radio Row, talking about how A.J. Brown could land them a second-round pick.
If he goes to a good team, a second-round pick.
Buffalo, New England.
If he goes to a bad team, a high third-round pick.
How about that?
So he's in back end of the second round, top end of the third round. Though that is the target of where a package for A.J. Brown, by the way.
Right.
There would probably be included maybe a fifth rounder, sixth rounder, or a compensatory, something like that, something that grows depending on what he performs next year.
By the way, the fact that these national reporters all kind of have the same range of draft picks, Jeremy Fowler, Diana Rossini.
It's what Howie's asking for. That's what tells me
right.
it's what he's asking for.
So I know there's people that still don't want to believe it.
Well, they don't want to believe it because it's not to what they think somebody's making up a story that AJ's asked for trades.
Right.
AJ has asked for trades.
By the way, I wish the stories weren't true.
So do we. Yeah, we all would.
I want A.J. Brown here.
We'd love it.
The Eagles' offense is better with A.J. Brown.
I wish he could have just, we all wish for professionalism. Sometimes you're not going to get it.
So we know that the A.J. Brown stuff started. We know that Kevin Patullo got fired. And then, of course, they had to find a new offensive coordinator. Now, they went against what they typically do, right? Or what the mindset of the Eagles has been the last couple of years. They went with a more gadget-type guy in Sean Mannion and Grizzard, right? So they're bringing in younger minds that kind of goes against the ideas that Nick Sirianni has had the last couple of years. It's why we had the conversation yesterday whether or not you want the new offensive room to tailor to what Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have been doing or to do a complete makeover. So that is part of the change. The way the offense looks, not just from a player standpoint, but from a schematic standpoint, could change. So that's some of the stuff that we know now. Vic Fangio, we know that the end could be near with Vic Fangio as the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles.
We know it's going to be he keeps threatening the retirement thing. The fact that they're going back to this I've said it too. I'm against it, but we know it's coming to the end.
Yeah,
which I would tend to believe is
soon.
this year because you can't be held hostage like this emotionally every year.
Right. So,
and what are you going to do?
So these are some of the things we have already heard or we know. And, of course, there's still a lot to come because the new league year hasn't started yet. There's a thing called the Super Bowl this Sunday. So things aren't happening before that in terms of free agents. Here are your free agents of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Dallas Goedert.
Gotcha.
Your starting tight end. Reed Blankenship.
Yep.
One of your two starting safeties.
Yes, exactly.
Jalen Phillips, a player you acquired, but was your best edge rusher from the day you acquired him for the rest of the season. Azeez Ojulari, I don't think anybody's going to shed tears. Jahan Dotson, I don't think many people will shed tears, but
I didn't even remember him being here.
But he was your third wide receiver on the depth chart.
He did absolutely nothing here.
I'll skip Brandon Graham because who knows at this point. Braden Mann, who was, I joke around, your MVP this year because, man, did he save a lot of games by flipping the field position.
Okay.
Adoree Jackson, your second cornerback. At one point, we were talking about Keely Ringos and Jacorian Bennett's and Michael Carter II, who they traded for from the Jets. Adoree Jackson was a staple for you out there as your second corner. How about Fred Johnson? Yeah, it might be a swing tackle. Many people don't really think that much about a swing tackle, but Fred Johnson also had to start a lot of games this year.
You let him walk, and then you had to use draft capital to trade for him back.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And he's a free agent again.
Yes.
And Nakobe Dean. There's guys like Grant Calcaterra and Ben Van Sumeren, but I'm talking about the guys that were on the field a lot this year. That's a lot of names, and some of them key names to this Eagles team.
Okay, let's put the keys.
Got it.
Yes.
I would say from the trade deadline on Jalen Phillips.
Yeah. You and I have different thoughts on Jalen Phillips as far as the impact that he actually made.
Would you agree that he was your best edge rusher from the day he got here through the rest of the season?
I think he did a really good job.
It was him and Jalix Hunt.
What he actually accomplished is where we part ways. But, I mean, yes, he was the best of a sort of ineffective group.
I'll say Reed Blankenship because he's a captain. I'm not me. I'm not the biggest Reed Blankenship guy, but he's a captain, veteran council, all that, or leadership council.
Yeah, I don't put him as, if you're going to put Dallas Goedert as key, I can't put Reed Blankenship as the same caliber of key.
Here's why I'll say key for Reed Blankenship. So he leaves. Right now, Drew Makuba is your safety.
Gotcha.
A second-year player with injury history in college, got injured his rookie year. And for the majority of his playing time his rookie year, there was a lot that people were disappointed in. So
there was.
If Reed Blankenship walks, which look, you know me,
I got you.
I'm fine with it. That does not all of a sudden make me still feel very comfortable that the safety position is being led by Drew Makuba. As of now, they might trade for somebody, they might sign for somebody, they could draft another one for all we know. But that'll be a very young secondary.
It would be. I'm not, as respectfully as possible, I am not really worried that you can find a safety that can have one interception, around 50 tackles.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's incredibly hard to find a Reed Blankenship.
Okay.
Though Reed, I respect what he's done here. I'm not putting him in the same category of free agency as looking at a guy like a Dallas Goedert.
Okay. Nakobe Dean, I think we would all agree. Key,
I'd love to have him,
though you have his replacement.
Love to have him back on the team, but I'm not paying Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, his market value on Spot Track is 7.8.
There ain't any way. There's no way with the two contracts that they already have at linebacker that they're paying a third.
Yeah.
The Eagles have never paid linebackers to begin with. I don't believe that they will be paying a third. So I believe he's gone. I don't even think that's an option that he's coming back. I'd be shocked if he was.
So change is coming. Bottom line for the Philadelphia Eagles, and it goes back to what Adam Schefter said on January 14th, especially after the way the season played out. He says expect more change than normal. But one of my questions is how much change can they actually do if they want to keep the window open? Because Dallas Goedert, 2 years ago, I think a lot of us were thinking would be done. Like he would not be playing for the Eagles in 2026. Now I'm at a point where you pretty much freaking need to have him in 2026 because you don't have his replacement.
Okay, ask your own question to yourself in a different way. Who do you believe really affects the Eagles' window being open? Goddard, to me, is a position that if you don't get a quality tight end, either in free agency, like you go sign a veteran who can fit into what Mannion wants to do, or you draft a young, talented tight end, which is what I think they will do, who affects the window being open?
He's probably the biggest one out of all those players that were mentioned.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think any do other than him.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think – I love Nakobe Dean.
Right, I know you do.
But I don't think that Nakobe Dean is saying, if Nakobe Dean walks, I don't think I'm going, man, chances to get back to the Super Bowl? Done. Finished. No, I don't buy it. Nakobe hasn't played 60% of the games, 65% of the games he's been available to play in or something like that? No. So I don't say that. I certainly don't say that about Reed Blankenship, and I don't mean in any way to be disrespectful to what he's done. I just think that Reed Blankenship is a really solid citizen and a good guy in a good system that they can replace. And Jalen Phillips, I mean, I like Jalen Phillips. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him
I
here.
don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he's coming here either.
Spot Track is projecting him to get 17 per.
No.
He's not coming back.
No, he's not coming back.
As much as I want him back, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. And again, at the trade deadline, the market for him was reportedly very cool. So that's the reason they were able to get him the way they got him, was very cool market. So I don't know that the league was exactly like, wow. I don't know that the league thinks about him the same way that many Eagles fans might think about Jalen Phillips. I don't think he made that big an impact. He was definitely the best, but I certainly didn't see him as an impact guy.
I did.
Well, the impact. What was the impact? You gotta tell me the numbers.
Setting the edge, Johnny.
No, but what are the numbers? He didn't have the numbers. An impact guy has numbers. You have to have numbers.
I'm going to say that
everybody.
I bet you if we asked Andrew DeCecco this question, he would say that he was an impact player.
Okay, you have to have an impact guy has numbers to make their case.
I don't know that that's necessarily true. Quinyon Mitchell's numbers from this year are not exceptional when you look at the things you can put on a stat sheet, but when you look at the impact he makes,
like, for a corner, I would agree with you 100%. For an edge rusher, I would disagree.
I'm not calling Jalen Phillips Miles. I'm not calling Miles
disagreeing with you. I will disagree with you 100%, and I'll agree with you 100% on that. No other impact edge rushers are you talking about, guys that you're talking about, edge rushers, do you say stats don't matter? Production doesn't matter? Do you talk about, well, you can't look at numbers when you're talking about edge rushers. That's exactly what you look at when you evaluate edge rushers.
I'm not saying can't look at numbers. I'm saying they're not the perfect indication of what the guy did to change the way that they got after quarterbacks.
I think he was the best that they got. I'm not questioning you two on that. I mean, I'm not at all. But I'm just telling you is that I could go down the list of guys that made an impact. Like we just go this year. Where does he end up on NFL edge rushers as far as guys who made a real impact? He got a B- grade, like when evaluated at his position group. across the league.
Oh, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid as if it wasn't a B-.
Yeah, because of the market that's out there. I mean, but if you look at guys, there's no other guys that are on the edge rusher mark, like edge rusher guys that you'd go, yeah, we're not evaluating them on their numbers.
Here's what happens to me when he leaves. It's like the Phillies outfield, right? Like Jalix Hunt, I like.
Right.
Nolan Smith I like, but there's a lot of questions about his stability.
Absolutely.
Because he gets hurt. Because of the way he plays. He's such an aggressive, smaller-bodied figure that he gets hurt a lot. And so last year, before the season started, we were wondering, where's the depth at the edge? The year before that, we were asking the question, where's the depth at edge? We're going to go into this year asking where's the depth at edge, kind of like what we do with the Phillies outfield every year. Not as drastically bad, because I hate the Phillies outfield. But it's the same question will arise every year.
Well, what happened in 2024? We had a lot of questions about that, and right around mid-November,
Josh Sweat,
that group took off, and they became a group. And by the way, they were impact guys, and they made an impact with their numbers.
Right.
This year's group did not take that rise and did not make an impact with actual numbers that can be justified to say, yes, they were sacking quarterbacks, they were getting after it the same way. That's where I believe they can find people that they can do that job.
So our question to start the show, 610-632-0975. Change is coming. We wonder who, and we wonder how much. And we also wonder how much of an impact these players will make if they do leave, right? Like if guys walk, do you just go, that's all good, we'll replace those players? Because a lot of these guys, not Jalen Phillips, but a lot of these guys have been here for many years, have been a part of the success with the Philadelphia Eagles. You know how I feel about Reed Blankenship, but he's been here. He's been a part of this core on defense that we absolutely fell in love during the 2024 season with. So how much of an impact will some of these guys make? By the way, A.J. Brown, not a free agent, but A.J. Brown, plenty of trade rumors out there, and it just feels like at this point he won't be with the Eagles moving forward. 610-632-0975. That's our Eagles angle. Now, at the end of the show yesterday, Johnny, you know how you always say I save the best content for when you're out?
Yeah.
You save the best content for when we're about to sign off, and then you let Middays with Marks run with it.
Well, I couldn't do anything about it because the texts were coming in late. Because the first texts were coming in to me from the West Coast, from somebody who was waking up on the West Coast in the National Hockey League saying to me, your Flyers are at it again.
Tell them to wake up earlier next
saying that the agent community was talking about the Flyers. And the agent community was buzzing about what went down at the Flyers Carnival on Sunday, where not only Rick Tocchet, but Danny Briere and Keith Jones were all getting tagged with sort of degrading their own asset. And I'm going to use the words that were used to me. I'd like to let you hear it from somebody who works in the league. The uncommon practice of degrading your own asset. It's something that the agent community is very much against, and it's something that to me is very puzzling. I will just tell you that the person saying that to me is somebody who has very intimately been involved in the National Hockey League for around 40 years.
Okay. And then I know
says it's a very puzzling thing, he says, to degrade your own asset publicly.
Right.
It's sort of like when Dave Dombrowski degrades Nick Castellanos for years publicly.
And then wonders why nobody wants to trade for him.
And then when he degrades Alec Boehm publicly and then nobody wants to trade for him.
Right.
When you have an asset, the last thing you want to do is degrade them publicly. And I believe the way, and I have a ton of respect for Rick Tocchet. I've known Rick since he played for the Flyers. I was working for the Flyers at the same time. I believe the way he's handling things, and I told everybody, the Flyers media couldn't stand John Tortorella as a group, almost collectively as a group uniformly. They couldn't stand Tortorella because he didn't treat them nicely. They thought he bullied them. They thought he was too tough on them. But John Tortorella handled Matvei Mishkov a lot better. Certainly got a lot more out of him. But I will also say that Matvei Mishkov had a bad offseason, showed up and absolutely documented, showed up out of shape. Came off a broken ankle, which it can be, Connor had said he broke his ankle once, and you were like, yeah, but you were like, Connor's like, yeah, but I didn't put on weight.
I was also like 16.
No, but the thing is, no. Connor, but wait, whoa. You were also not a professional athlete due to make millions of dollars.
That's fair.
So,
well, maybe at that point I was.
No,
big
but
time
there was
prospect.
No,
in the
you
baseball
weren't.
game.
You really weren't. But the thing is, it's that you have motivations. You're a professional. You have motivations. So I'm in no way clearing Matvei Mishkov. I am in no way doing that. But I am saying it's incredibly puzzling to me why, as an organization, you would be so chips to the middle of the table of degrading your own assets.
Tough love, Johnny.
Well, guess what? That's very 1980s. And what did I see? I saw years of coverage of John Tortorella, of attacking Tortorella about how tough and how mean he was and how he was going to hurt the development of Matvei Mishkov. You know, what the kids say. Bring the same energy now.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people.
Where's the same energy now?
They just don't like Tortorella.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it came down to. And I told you that's what it was all along.
I know.
That Tortorella wasn't nice to the media, so Rick has misplayed his hand on this one.
So, coming up next, I have a question about this Michkov situation. Now, it's more of an all-around sports conversation, so even if you're not diehard Flyers fan, this spans all sports. And honestly, this could be the preference for some. I'll explain more coming up next. Also, somebody is ready to go to war with Philadelphia fans. What else is new? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A 2-win night. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both found wins last night as the teams draw closer to their respective midseason breaks. For the Sixers, it was a 113-94 win over the Warriors late last night. VJ Edgecombe had an awesome night leading the way for the Sixers.
103-86 Sixers, 2 seconds. VJ hangs, fires, puts it up and in. An incredible shot by Edgecombe, and the Sixers lead 105-86. VJ with 23.
Great call by Tom McGinnis here on 97.5 The Fanatic as always. He'd finished with 25 points. The Sixers are off tonight. The Flyers had a nice night of their own, beating the Caps 4-2. Dan Vladar, outstanding night in net for him. They have one more game before the Olympic break. They'll host the Senators on Thursday. And as of today, we're officially 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater for the Phillies. Baseball season right around the corner. We'll keep you updated on everything as the Phils get ready to head into camp. We'll also keep you updated on what the Eagles are working on. Adam Schefter joins us coming up at 8:05. Kevin Kurtz, who follows the Flyers, covers them for The Athletic, will join us at 9:05 to talk about that Michkov situation. This update is brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at Chickies and Pete's from now until February 15th. Spend $30 and get 6 wings free on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Kincade and Salciunas before I changed my mind.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It is 6:30 on this Wednesday morning, this Adam Schefter Wednesday. And again, the way we started the show today, a clip from his January 14th when he joined the show, as he does every single week. This was 3 days after the Eagles got eliminated by the 49ers. And he talked about how after the way this season played out, how seasons play out like this, especially in Philadelphia, expect more changes than normal. So I checked our YouTube chat to see some of the immediate responses, Johnny, when it came to the players that we mentioned. Kieran said, if I had it my way, so this isn't his predictions, it's just if he had it his way, restructure AJ's contract and keep him. I'm glad that he started with, if I had it my way, because that's not happening. Buy Reed Blankenship, like bye-bye. Sign Phillips if it's $13.5 million per. Sorry, Dean, I can't have 3 linebackers. Dallas, I'd love to have 1 more year. And then there's Renee, who believes that all A.J. Brown, Jalen Phillips, and Dallas Goedert are staying.
Really?
Completely that does not believe in and has consistently not believed in the trade rumors of A.J.
Okay, well
believes they'll pay Jalen Phillips and Dallas Goedert.
Renee, all I can tell you is you don't believe the sun's coming up today. You're not believing something that's true. That is true. So, it's like I want to have effective dialogue on this. You're not believing something that's true. So if we can't agree on that, he absolutely wanted to be traded. He absolutely was causing disruption with the team from the beginning of the year. We're not debating these facts anymore of like, I don't believe it happened. Like we got to deal with the facts of the situation.
But there's also thoughts that maybe the Sean Mannion could keep.
No.
Right.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
If Renee's saying that, I'm all in. In fact, we talked about it yesterday. I would love to see that. I'd love to see that. But I'm not doing oh my God. No, I don't believe it ever happened. AJ did not do that. Yeah, no, he did. He did. Let's at least deal with what we know. He was a disruptor.
Well, they haven't come out and said that he did.
He was a disruptor the whole year. And by the way, can I say one thing because it was reiterated to me yesterday?
Sure.
The Eagles do not make official commentary on anyone who is under contract that they are staying. So if you are waiting for the Eagles to make official commentary that Vic Fangio is staying, the Eagles are not making a commentary about somebody who's under contract. No. They don't do that.
Same goes as Nick Sirianni a couple of years ago after the 23 season. People were wondering, well, how come they haven't announced that he's back? Well, he was still under contract.
So they're not going to make
say anything.
It's not the Eagles waiting to make a statement. It's not the Eagles waiting to make a decision. It's the fact is he's under contract. He's going to be here. And from what I understand, they knew this before Christian Parker left the building, that he was coming back, that this was a story. But then immediately when they found out the answer, Parker goes to Dallas, Gannon goes to Green Bay, and that was the story.
Exactly.
It'd be kind of fun if they did announce every single player on the roster was back. Like Jalen Hurts will be the quarterback next year. And then just get some social media content out there.
Like a little game show.
Just one per day.
And then there will be people that will be upset with that.
And I love Renee's passion and energy for it. And I hope we do get them all back. But I'm not going to play the game of, well, that never happened. No, it happened, Renee. It did. He started disrupting this team when they were 4-0 and everything was going great. And Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith were both on record paces. It was pissing off AJ. Bottom line.
He wasn't getting his, Johnny.
Do with that what you will.
All right, we'll check our text line here in a minute, 610-632-0975. Change is coming for the Eagles. You can't re-sign everybody, so who do you think will no longer be here, and how much of an impact will those losses be for the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, you mentioned the Flyers, the Matvei Michkov stuff, so I'm curious. You brought up A.J. Brown.
Sure.
If you had to pick, there is the approach that A.J. Brown clearly took. Whisper down the lane.
Oh, he didn't whisper down the lane. He went right to social media like he was
afterward.
He went like the teenage girl during a problem with her boyfriend, putting up the cryptic posts.
All right, maybe not just AJ. The Jalen Hurts all of a sudden. There was like a 2-week stretch where Jalen Hurts was public enemy number 1.
Oh yeah,
from somebody inside NovaCare, right?
Well, that's as soon as Jeffrey Lurie talked to A.J. Brown and said, no more public posts.
It became
all of a sudden
anonymous.
All of a sudden it becomes all these anonymous crap comes out.
May not have just been AJ. Could have been Patullo, too. We got that we got that pretty clear from Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No, we know it's documented because Ryan Fitzpatrick ran his mouth on national TV.
Yes.
We know that Kevin Patullo was doing
Sherman
it.
on the podcast.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So we know that was happening.
But yeah, Nick needs to keep him around.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you prefer? Would you prefer through sources or the way the Flyers are handling it, which is, hey, it's us, very public?
Well, here's what's different is, first of all, from what I understand of the situation, and again, and I made it clear I tweeted about this yesterday. I made it clear the guys and ladies who are entrenched with the Flyers on a daily basis in that locker room are people that I respect a ton as far as they have their ears, they have their work, and they're doing good work on this. So they know a lot. So trust them. But what I've been told is Matt Vea is a complete professional as far as he's not going to be A.J. Brown. He's not going to be. But that doesn't mean his representation won't be.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that his representation won't be pissed about what they're doing publicly to him.
Well, what would you rather have? Would you rather have Whisper down the lane, or would you rather have Talk It and Danny very public?
See, this is different.
It's a Sophie's choice because it both sucks.
No, because they both suck, but this is different. Is the player is doing it in one way, and the player is disrupting the team. Matt Vea is not disrupting the team, but I will tell you this.
Some may say that the way he came into camp out of shape is disrupting
absolutely,
the team.
And I will be banging the drum on that I believe that. But I'm also a believer that young players learn by playing. They don't learn by watching. And I watched it. I watched it under Keenan. I watched him play. Every young player that was in this organization, he took the youngest team ever to a Stanley Cup Finals in 1985. He took another very young team to the Stanley Cup Finals in 1987 and lost to one of the greatest teams ever. Mm-hmm. One of the youngest rosters in history. Oh, by the way, Rick Tocchet was part of both of those rosters. An incredibly young team. But like a bunch of teenagers.
Right.
A bunch of guys who couldn't drink legally. And they learned by trial and error. They learned, and by the way,
I think you're missing my question.
No, but I think the thing is that no, I don't want it either way, but I think that the adults in the room, I'm going to tell you what's worse is what Rick's done.
I think it's worse.
Yes. Yeah, because you don't degrade your own asset.
Okay.
Now behind closed doors, kick ass and take names. And I have no problem with Rick Tocchet behind closed doors or Danny Briere or Keith Jones behind closed doors doing whatever they got to do to kick ass and take names to get the most out of Matvei Michkov and to push him.
Connor, if you had to pick this Sophie's choice, would you rather it be the person just straight up saying it, that you know that they're saying it, or whisper down the lane?
Whisper down the lane every single time. Because at least you can make justifications right or wrong from the outside looking in, which is the perspective we have and the fan base has.
Sure.
Like, you can make justifications for where these rumors are coming from. Oh, we don't know who it is. We don't know the motivation behind it. When you've got the coach and the general manager saying
just
it
straight up saying
on
it
camera and on microphone, it makes it pretty hard to refute.
Well, the one thing is, too, is that everybody and their sister in the Eagles locker room this year had to answer questions about A.J. Brown. And I can assure you that professional athletes hate.
Well, which, by the way.
And Andrew has told you over and over again, professional athletes hate having to answer questions about other professional athletes. So instead of just talking and sharing your thoughts, which is you got a microphone in front of you, you could stand there and you could say what you mean what you say.
So then you would prefer that.
Instead,
that's what I prefer. I prefer it being the person and not whisper down the lane.
Yeah, but the thing is Michkov isn't doing that because Michkov doesn't have an issue. I don't believe Michkov has an issue with Rick Tocchet.
I'm not talking about.
Well, no, you're comparing.
About
but you're comparing a coach to a player. They're two different situations.
Well, no, Kevin Patullo's a coach.
A.J. Brown is a player. A.J. Brown, instead of just speaking his mind and saying what he means, he goes to Instagram and acts like a cryptic child.
All right, I'm going to say forget A.J. Brown, forget Matt Michkov, forget anybody.
Okay.
Would you rather a person publicly on camera talk about somebody?
I told you. I answered it twice to you already. What are you not getting?
Well, you keep on bringing up A.J.
I
Brown.
answered it because the fact is you're comparing a player to a coach or a general manager. I already said to you, I never want my degraded asset. I don't want Dave Dombrowski's style of management. And now we're seeing it from two of our teams. I don't want Dave Dombrowski after 22, 23, 24, and again, ripping Nick Castellanos' plate management and things like that. Because you degrade your own asset, you then make people not want to. If you don't like them, why somebody want to trade for them? So I've told you, I don't want management degrading those players. Okay. That's not the way. I think that's very 1980s.
All right.
Very 1990s.
Fair enough. We could hear from people on that as well. 610-632-0975. Would you rather them be public about their feelings about someone? Doesn't have to be coach, manager, anything. Just would you rather be public or whisper down the lane? I'd rather be public. I don't want drama like you want, Connor. You want it to be whispered down the lane. I don't want to do that. I want, look, say what you mean what you say. That's what I want. Speaking of saying what you mean and mean what you say, how about Paul Bissonnetti yesterday?
Paul Bissonnetti, yes, he's not. Yeah, he's a colorful character.
He said what he had to say and meant what he had to say. This was the Spittin' Chicklets podcast talking about Philadelphia.
I think Philadelphia Flyers fans are completely unhinged online right now. Buddy, honestly, they're morons. You can cold board that too.
What are they saying?
And I ain't squashing those rumors. I saw one comparing Michkov to Lindros, that Pocket's going to run the biggest superstar we've had since Eric Lindros out of town. So the Michkov storyline, it's never ending. It's quite incredible. And I believe Talk was on a radio show or something saying, like, he came in out of shape. I don't know what you want me to say.
What do they see in him that nobody else sees?
They just want
draft scouting reports.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I don't feel like giving it my oxygen and energy anymore other than just saying they're morons. Like, I'm not, like, it's bad when I'm not even arguing with you because I think you're that stupid. Like, I'll tell you right now, I'm a moron, but you guys are, I would get into Harvard compared to how stupid these people are and how much energy they're spending on this particular topic. And they're like, he played only 10 minutes and look at all of his Corsi and numbers here. Yeah, buddy, they're that nice because of the line matches and the situation he's putting them in.
Yeah, they're protecting him.
He's protecting him. He's doing him a favor. And all you're doing is trying to drag his name to, what has he done? He's a year and a half removed from winning a Jack Adams.
Now, is Paul going to tell the truth there, though, is what I'm asking. Is he going to tell the truth? Who he was protecting? His buddy Rick Tocchet?
Yeah.
Is he going to tell the truth? Is he also going to tell the truth? Did I hear his co-host say, what are they looking at, pre-draft scouting reports? No, dude. We looked at last year. We looked at his rookie year. We don't have to look at pre-draft scouting reports. We can look at NHL production last year. That doesn't excuse him. He came in out of shape. He had an injury in the summer. A lot of guys take a step back in their second year. It's well documented. But please, if they're going to talk about protecting people, Paul, you're protecting Rick Tocchet.
This could be
You're protecting your buddy, and you're also, we don't have to look at pre-draft scouting reports. We all watched last season.
Believe it or not, many people can be to blame for a situation.
Yes, and the number one person to blame, though, is Matvei Michkov.
All right, coming up next, happy anniversary, Philadelphia.
Here we go.
Explain more next year on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, it's last call for football, and all week long, FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. Love it. 2 days ago was passing yards. Yesterday was rushing. Today is the receiving markets. Receiving yards, they're over unders, alternate receiving yards, or maybe even the most receiving yards in the game. Jackson Smith and Jigba, probably the best bet. Not only his over under, which is 93.5, but maybe for you to bet him to have the most receiving yards in this contest. He is going to be the best receiver that is on the field for both teams coming up this Sunday. All you have to do is opt in each day and place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Salciunas.
Right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is 6:48 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right. Happy anniversary.
Yes, yes, yes. I know what yours is
When's my anniversary?
today.
Oh, I thought you meant like my wedding anniversary.
No.
Good for you if you remember.
Why,
that.
yours is December?
Nope. So you're already wrong.
Is it
Failure.
November?
November 30th.
Yeah, I knew it was right around then, though.
November 30th. Beautiful day, but not as beautiful.
Was it as beautiful as this day? I want to show you on the thing.
Well,
That's what this
looks
day
nice.
looked like. That's what it looked like.
Looks like Vegas.
That's what today looked like, and I'll show it to the YouTubers. That's what the morning dawn looked like when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
How's everyone doing?
8 years ago today, the Philadelphia Eagles won Super Bowl 52, the first Super Bowl in franchise history. So just so you guys know, coming up on Friday, we're going to be speaking to the director of the 30 for 30 that drops Friday night about the Philly special. I mean, the title's the Philly special. It's about Super Bowl 52 when the Eagles, with all the injuries that they dealt with, the incredible story that we know inside and out, will be, that's going to air on Friday night when they beat the Patriots in Super Bowl 52.
Oh, you just ruined the ending for people who didn't know.
Yeah. In case you guys just have no idea what's been going on in Philadelphia sports history. But the Super Bowl 52 documentary, 30 for 30, comes out this Friday. But today's the anniversary of it. 8 years ago, the Eagles won the first ever Super Bowl championship. Of course, it's been a fun, tumultuous, but fun ride since then, right? They've been to,
wild.
They've
and
been
fun.
to two others. They've won a Super Bowl. There's been roller coaster stories. Even the year that they won their second Super Bowl, the Nick Sirianni potentially could have been fired in Week 4. Like, there's been a lot since that day. But 8 years ago today, one of the best days of pretty much anybody's life. That's at least the age of. I'm trying to think.
Well, somebody who's at least 16.
So they were
16.
8 years old when they watched the.
Yeah, you have to have been
you
have to have been like 8.
Yeah.
To remember, so like 16. But also, happy anniversary to you, right? Wasn't this your first shift?
No, wrong.
No?
That would be tomorrow.
Oh.
2 a.m.
Oh, it was a 2 a.m. broadcast.
Yeah, my first.
So who did right after the game?
Zach Gelb and Joe Stazak was our post-game show that season. And then me and Jay Grayowski. I'll never forget. Jay Grayowski, who is now a trainer, like at gyms.
Okay.
This dude was freaking ripped.
Jay Grayowski.
Yeah, me and Jay Gray did the show together. And then me and Egan the next day did the show together from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. But yeah, so tomorrow is my first ever hosting shift anniversary.
I said there at the Bellagio in the sports book was the chair.
Nice.
The chair that because I hosted the Super Bowl party for them, and that chair, and they have not gotten rid of the chair in the lounge.
Good.
But they have it's already purchased. I told them, I said, when you go to make the change, I'm getting that chair, and I want that chair, and I don't care what it costs to ship.
Yeah.
I want to have that chair to be able to sit in it again.
That Super Bowl truly is amazing that it's ours.
It's unbelievable.
Think about it for a second, and I know we do all the time. Anytime you think back to Super Bowl 52, you think about all the times they fell just short. You think about the NFC Championship games, with Andy and 5 and the great run that was, but they never got the full job done, which was winning the Super Bowl. This team, and I know Foles is the first name that everybody thinks about, this team was missing lots of players, including their Hall of Fame left tackle, right?
Middle linebacker.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks was hurt. Darren Sproles was hurt.
Running back. I mean,
that's why they had to make the trade for Jay Ajayi.
All over the place.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that at one point it looked like the Eagles were going to play the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I was hoping for because I didn't need the perfect story. I just needed a win. I wanted to see a Super Bowl.
That's all I wanted.
A lot of people wanted to see it in their lifetime, right? We were younger, Connor. There were people that were saying, I don't know how many more chances I got left watching this team.
I had almost died twice at this point.
So you didn't
I was
care.
like, please, just get me a Super Bowl. And being in that building that night as a fan, flew up for it, was as a fan as to who was going to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC title game. The fans there in the plaza watching the game, the AFC title game, because the Eagles were getting ready for the later game.
Yep.
Everybody was rooting for Jacksonville.
Blake Bortles, baby. Everyone wanted it to be Blake Bortles and the Jags.
Nobody was like, yeah, come on, we want Brady, man. Let's bring on Brady.
Except for me.
Yeah, well,
you weren't there.
You're an idiot.
It was that dust dumb. You were dumber. You were dumber when you were young.
That's very dumb. Now,
you think we got a documentary coming out Friday if it's Blake Bortles?
No, but
you make a point.
No,
Connor.
but here's the deal. Did you think that they were going to definitely beat the Patriots? There was no way they would have lost to Jacksonville. Like, no way. That team, that Eagles team, there was magic. They were not going to lose to freaking Blake Bortles. There was a chance that they could have lost to Tom Brady, who threw for 505 yards.
I wanted him.
I will tell you, what's great is that's one of the few beauties things about social media is that you can go back, and I absolutely doubled down from the beginning. I loved the matchup with the Patriots.
Sure.
Now, I never saw the game going like it did.
Where Brady throws for 505 yards and you still win.
I believe I had it, 31-28 Eagles or 31-27 Eagles. I never thought that game was going to be the way it was.
And then it was the game.
It was amazing. The game was amazing.
Brady throws for 500 yards and loses. The Eagles made one play on defense. One. And it's a play that people will remember forever, the Brandon Graham strip sack. But then there's like the small stuff too. Like, not small stuff, but we think of Philly special. The fourth down with Zach Ertz. The toe drag by Corey Clement in the back of the end zone. From Malcolm Jenkins on Brandon Cooks.
The touchdown pass to Corey Clement may be the most amazing play.
Yeah.
That was made, because that's an incredible catch. It's an incredible toe tap.
And perfectly placed where nobody else could get to it.
Like, it's never going to get talked about like Brandon Graham. It's never going to get talked about but that play?
There were a lot of plays like that. Like Garrett Blount's touchdown to start the game. Like that game, it's ours.
It's such a
We always
great
get to
game.
celebrate that game. It's one of the best games in Super Bowl history.
Absolutely.
And that's not bias.
No.
It just straight up is.
It was awesome.
And it's ours. We're going to have some fun with the 8-year anniversary of the Super Bowl throughout the course of the show today. But coming up next, we'll reset our topics from this morning. And a trade that took place in the NBA that John and I disagreed on the impact of it from a Sixers perspective.
Where do you think Connor falls?
Back at 5:05 this morning. If he's smart with me, Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A strong showing for the Sixers and Flyers. I'm Connor Thomas, and both teams found wins last night as they draw closer to their respective midseason breaks. The Sixers took down the Warriors 113-94 late last night out on the West Coast. VJ Edgecombe had an awesome night, leading the way for the Sixers, 25 points for the Rook. They are off tonight. The Flyers had a nice night of their own, beating the Caps 4-2. Dan Vladar, an outstanding night in net.
Not the center ice. Here comes Watkins right back in. Duhaim's got a man going to the net. Oh, a great save by Dan Vladar, closing the 5-hole as LaPierre tried to tuck him through him, and Vladar said, nothing doing.
And he was saying nothing doing all night. He was great in net. A great call by Tim Saunders there. That game was over on WMMR last night. The Flyers have one more game before the Olympic break. They'll host the Senators on Thursday. And as of today, we're officially 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater for the Phillies. Baseball season is right around the corner. Adam Schefter joins us coming up at 8:05 for the latest on national NFL news. Super Bowl week, of course, and the Birds. Kevin Kurz will join us at 9:05. Covers the Flyers for the Athletic, talking about the Nafe Beach Golf situation that has popped up in the news lately. This update is brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Get a full synthetic oil change for just $74.99. Plus, earn $7 towards your next service with Duramax dollars at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer ends February 28th. See store for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
5, The Fanatic.
It is 7 a.m. here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. I learned something new just now during the commercial break,
Okay,
as did Johnny.
I'm Googling it right now because I've never heard of it either.
It's a shame. You always hope people, get help and so I want to lead with that. But
They sample sweat roughly every 30 minutes.
Patrick Mahomes Sr. Arrested again yesterday. He has been on probation since he had a DWI last year.
Yep.
We did not know, Connor, that there are ankle alcohol monitors.
Oh, so what? It checks the BAC level?
It checks your sweat every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And through the skin. And it detects alcohol. It also detects any other any other things you might
sure,
be
but
ingesting.
it was alcohol related.
Yes.
I don't know if he can't have any,
or
if there's
no, he's not allowed to have any.
So that's the probation. Not allowed to have any.
It is for probationary. It's for probationary use for people with that are forbidden alcohol intake. They even have to tell if they are having cough medicine or anything that might contain alcohol. These devices are considered highly accurate, tamper-resistant, and are all admissible in court.
How about that? Ankle
I've never even
alcohol monitors.
I've never heard of this in my life. That's incredible.
That's new.
That's truly incredible.
All right. So on this Wednesday morning, Adam Schefter Wednesday. Shefty joins us coming up in a little over an hour, 8:05. And we started the show off by playing a clip from Shefty back on January 14th. Sorry to bring up the week. It was the couple days after the Eagles lost to the 49ers and got eliminated from the playoffs. This was Adam Schefter, January 14th, talking about the Eagles' upcoming offseason.
When you come up a season like this one, I don't know how it's going to go and where it's going to go, but when you come off a season like that ends the way it does, I expect there to be more change than people would expect. Just the way that they operate and the way they roll. When they don't achieve results, they double up efforts to make sure there are results the next year. And they do have a lot of money tied up in certain areas and key financial decisions to make. And my guess is whatever you could imagine for this offseason to look like, it'll be busier and more active than that. That's my belief.
Busier and more active than that. That's bold.
We've been talking about a lot of makeovers with the Eagles, right? We've been talking about when they were going to fire Kevin Petullo, which we all expected, right?
Right.
We were hoping for a change in direction when it came to the offense. We got that, right? Sean Mannion, whether you want to talk about his beliefs or just his age and lack of play calling experience, not that Petullo had it, that's a change from what has worked for the Eagles the last couple of years. So there's a new look with the Eagles offensively. All the rumors about A.J. Brown, I would imagine that's one of those things. And you heard Shefty mention there are players' money tied up. It wasn't impending free agents, right? Dallas Goedert, Nakobe Dean. I will throw out Adoree Jackson because he was your second best corner on the team. Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, a lot of players that are hitting the free agent market. But there, he also mentioned players tied up with money. So A.J. Brown is tied up with money. Jordan Davis is a guy where you wonder, all right, he's about to play his fifth year. This will be his fifth-year option season. We know how the NFL operates. A lot of times people don't want to play on that last year. They don't want to be considered lame ducks. Not that Jordan Davis is a lame duck. He's going to get paid regardless. But could that be something? We read the ESPN mock draft where they had Eagles taking a D tackle in the second round.
There you go.
Could that be possible? I'm not saying it is, but you never know.
But if we see that happen, we know that Jordan is not getting another contract. That's it. I think yesterday, and we asked yesterday, we talked about it on the show yesterday, I believe he would be the odd man out if they were talking about you got to sign Jalen Carter, you're going to have to sign Quinyon, you're going to have to sign Cooper DeJean. That they don't want to see Jordan Davis go, but I would believe that they would look at that position as the one that they could the most easily be able to go and get somebody in the draft to put there and to find a way to make it work.
So we're expecting change. Obviously, there's going to be change every year in football, but there's a lot of players that have been a part of this run going back to 2022 that might not be here next year. and how much of an impact their losses may be. And we're not just talking about guys like Dallas Goedert who are a free agent. We're talking about A.J. Brown potentially being traded. And there's just enough smoke there that we think that's going to happen. So how much of an impact? What do we got on the text line, Connor? You can text the show, 610-632-0975. And in a few minutes, we're going to react to a trade that took place in the NBA yesterday. And John and I had two polar opposite reactions to it.
Colby from Central PA leads us off, and he says, my biggest concern with free agents for the Eagles would be Dallas Goedert, but I think just as important is the offensive line. We need the guys we have to get healthy, but also to add depth. I wanted this before coming into the last year, and look what happened.
I think our man MBD said it, kind of to that texter's point. It's not just necessarily all the names that are hitting the market, right? Like Dallas Goedert, we agree the most impactful loss if he were to leave. But guys like Blankenship, Phillips, they've played a role with this team. Fred Johnson has played a role with this team. Adoree Jackson played a role with this team last year. It's not just those guys potentially leaving. There's questions about this current roster.
Sure there is.
Like the offensive line, to the texter's point, MBD said it too on our YouTube chat, like the offensive line, yeah, sure. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson are here. Unless Lane Johnson retires. Like, Lane Johnson's not going anywhere else. They're all here.
We cross those fingers.
But just because they're all here doesn't mean they're the players they were 3 years ago. I don't know what their health will be like next year. Jordan Mailata straight up said it. He wasn't himself going into the season. Will he be himself next year because they didn't play as many games? Maybe.
Well,
but there are questions of players here.
This longer 4 weeks, a month of extra rest should absolutely help, which should be an issue. And I believe we're going to hear more about what players are doing to get healthy from this season. Of course, especially those two underachievers, and I'm winking when I say it, on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, and I'm just speculating that Rube does great work, but I can only imagine what Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson feel about being listed as huge disappointments when I could tell you both of them were playing through huge injury challenges. And to me, I wonder what both of those men are saying. They're reading that and going, so we're the biggest disappointments, huh? You know what we could have done? We could have shut it down for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have made the playoffs. So would that have been better? Would that have been disappointing?
Well,
I think I got to tell you that, and I don't believe that Ruben is a fine journalist, and he doesn't in any way. But there's something just not right about that. Like there's guys that are fighting their way to be on the field, and they're not going to be at their best. They could just say, I'm not playing it 50%. And by the way, we have players in this town, check the Sixers, who won't play unless they are a certain percentage. And we have players on the Eagles who say, I'm willing to go out and play. Last year, I know that Cam Jurgens played sometimes where he was 50%.
Now,
things like that.
But here's a question. Those guys, and I agree with you about the disappointment.
I think that's just not
But how does
fair.
that impact them next year? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. We're going to find out.
We have there are players on this team where you don't know about their health going in the next season.
No, we don't. And it's going to be something to really watch.
What else we got on the text line, Connor?
Joe from Media has a priority wish list for the free agency retention. So he lists A.J. Brown, Goddard, Phillips, Dean, Fred Johnson, Reed Blankenship, and Jahan Dotson. But more likely to happen, he says, is just Goddard, Fred Johnson, Dotson, and Blankenship.
Does he want all those guys back, or is that his order?
He wants all those guys back, but
I don't need Jahan Dotson back. Like, are we?
Are we talking about Jahan Dotson? I mean, sir, I sound like Allen Iverson there. Are we talking about Dotson?
Like
Jahan Dotson didn't even fog the mirror here.
Yeah. By the way, I'm drafting a rookie wide receiver
on the third day.
Yeah.
I'm drafting a wide receiver if I have to.
If not earlier, because you don't know about A.J. Brown.
I'd rather
you might be drafting a wide receiver earlier.
No, I would. I would if A.J. Brown's gone. But I'm getting a journeyman wide receiver, a veteran journeyman wide receiver in here otherwise. And I'm going to be just as fine.
Jahan Dotson had one game of note, and it was the Tanner McKee Giants game. And, of course, the touchdown or the big catch in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the big catch in the Super Bowl that got him to the 1 yard line and then the tush push. But, yeah, no, if Jahan Dotson walked, I'm not going to lose an ounce of sleep over that. I don't sleep well enough as it is. I'm not going to lose any sleep because of Jahan Dotson.
And I slept great last night.
All right, Connor. Curious to get your thoughts. We'll ask you the question. All right.
Yeah, just ask the question.
Your reaction to the Cleveland Cavaliers trading Darius Garland and acquiring James Harden in the trade from a Sixers perspective?
Not ideal because the East is getting a little bit tougher this year. Not that I think the Sixers were going to win the East as currently constructed, but also the Anthony Simons trade to get Vucevic to Boston is another thing. But I don't think it's great for this year. I do think it's better for the long-term viability of that pick because Darius Garland's contract is up the year after that pick comes to fruition, so he's going to become a trade piece for the Clippers. I imagine he won't be there still. So I don't think it kills the long-term plan for the Sixers.
So you're looking at this from the 2028 draft pick.
Yeah,
no, but he's looking from the Sixers.
We're talking
for this
about
year.
this year.
Oh, it's bad for him.
It's bad for the Sixers.
Yeah.
All right, so you agree with John.
Yeah, I don't. And
why do you not think it is?
The Sixers could not keep up with those two players. They struggled in the games against them, especially in the first one. The second one was the comeback. Darius Garland didn't play in that game. He's had a toe injury.
Hang on. You worry more about the pace than the outside shooting with the Sixers having an inability to defend the perimeter?
James Harden, you guys know how much I like him.
Oh, I know you.
I never wanted him to leave.
Love him. Yeah.
I still stand by. Best point guard that Joel Embiid's ever played with.
You love him.
But James Harden slows down what Cleveland has been able to do. He slows down their pace.
He also gives them a shooter though that they didn't have.
Okay, I'll also
he gives them a weapon.
I'll take the low hanging fruit.
He gives them a weapon that
James
they
Harden
didn't
in the
have.
playoffs.
Okay, no, Game 7 and Game 6
Sure.
maybe.
Let's get there.
But the
Let's
Sixers
get there
won't
first.
get there to the biggest game.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's a better, more dangerous team in the East today than they were yesterday.
I don't think James Harden makes some big drastic change for Cleveland. I really don't.
The odds makers would disagree.
I know.
The odds makers
I don't
really
look. I don't.
disagree.
I don't always have to look. The odds makers had the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. Like
Before the year they did, yeah. They did.
and then they were the third best odds when I told you that they were dead. So I understand the odds makers give Cleveland more of a bump. I saw that trade yesterday, and I go, "Oh, it's good for the Sixers." It's how I reacted to it yesterday. I get your point about the 2028.
I think you want it to be. I do. I think you want it to be. I think you looked at it and you said, "No, look, your reasoning. You give some solid reasoning there. I mean, I'm not arguing with your reasoning there, but I believe that Cleveland just got something that they were missing. One part of the equation that they were missing, and it's something, as Connor points out, that the Sixers don't defend. So that is like a double-edged thing where Cleveland got better in something they were weaker at, and the Sixers now got something where they don't defend it well.
Yeah, the Cavs were not beating the Sixers in the games that they played this year because of pace and fast break points.
Not
They
at
were
all.
beating them because they were shooting the lights out from three, and they just added a better three-point shooter.
And the
That
Sixers,
is not good.
And the Sixers didn't defend them well before they had James Harden. They couldn't defend Cleveland shooters then.
I feared more the Mitchell-Garland duo more than I fear the the Mitchell-Harden duo. I also wonder how much does James Harden's game impact Donovan Mitchell, because Garland was more of the Robin to Donovan Mitchell. You know James Harden's going to have his nights where he wants to be Batman.
Sure, you can let him. You can let him. There's enough mail-in nights in the NBA where you can let Harden do what he wants to do. But this team, they're I mean, if they don't get up to the best team, they could be with the best team by the time it's over. Because I'm not a believer in Detroit long term. I think Detroit.
No,
will
me
be
neither.
still
I think
top.
they're very young.
I think they're still going to be towards the top of the conference. But
Well, record-wise, yeah, absolutely.
I could see Cleveland tracking them down.
Bottom line, here's this. Darius Garland's averaging 18 points a game this year. If you matched up with Cleveland in a postseason series, you're saying take away Donovan Mitchell, Joel Embiid works on the block against Jared Allen, and you're winning that series potentially. Or at least winning that game.
There was talks that they could trade him. I don't know if
They could, but
yeah.
here's
They
the
could.
thing. Now, if you say, hey, we're matching up with Cleveland, you can't just say, take away Donovan Mitchell, we win.
Okay.
And I
that's
think you
very
could have.
different
I
than what
think you
could
could
yesterday.
have before.
Exactly.
All right. I look at this trade and I go, all right, it's not bad for the Sixers. Let's talk to a great hoopsman.
There you go.
Let's go to our man Stan in Drexel Hill.
Love Stan.
He heard the conversation. Stan, great basketball mind that you are. Your thoughts?
What's up, Stan?
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing, man?
Good, buddy.
It's been a while, man. Hope everybody's doing well, staying warm. Listen, yeah, I tend to agree with Eunice on this one. Like, Garland being a speedy, crafty, I know Harden's crafty too, but he's a little long in the tooth. Garland just presented a little bit of a different problem defensively. I think Harden with his isolation-heavy basketball, and it's funny that you say that, John, because I know you hated the way Harden really played. So his ISO-heavy ball kind of tends to kill those possessions, down the stretch. And then he's not like he had the biggest playoff resume anyway, as far as
I know that
when you needed him most.
I tried to tell people that one.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did. I'm not going to take that away from you. But so when I look at it, this move, it looks good from a name standpoint, and it was really because Donovan Mitchell, they don't want him to leave, so they're trying to do something that's going to entice him to stay. And if they have another playoff exit, he's thinking about leaving and all that. But I'm looking at it, and I say to myself, the move from them that made me say, "Dang, man, I kind of wish we did that," was more so like the Keon Ellis move. That long defensive guard wing that they definitely needed, because now your backcourt is just as bad defensively as it was before, if not worse, with James Harden back there. So I think there's going to be opportunities for the Sixers to go at him as well if they match up against them in the playoffs. So
I also wonder, is James Harden keeping up with VJ and Maxey on the break?
That's what I'm saying.
The only thing is, when you
he
saw
will make guys like Mobley better.
When you saw
I definitely think he'll make guys like him better, but
Stan, you saw the games where Cleveland just beat them back to back. It wasn't they weren't beating them with speed. They didn't beat them with their speed. They sat there and shot from outside and buried them, and now they've got an even better shooter.
No, but he's not a better shooter. He's shooting 34% from three. Garland was shooting 36.
Yeah, but he's putting up more threes per game.
You're just it's the opportunity.
No, I'm just saying, but I'm saying in Harden's style of shot, he's one of the greatest three-point shooters in a sense of volume. He's not really a shooter when you look at what he does. He's an isolation, step back, let me get to my spot type of thing. And those type of possessions, that's not what was killing the Sixers when we beat the Cavs. They were getting a lot of dribble penetration, kicking out Jalen Tyson hitting 8 threes on us, and then, of course, Donovan Mitchell hitting threes. Like, they were doing it from a spreading it around type of thing. James Harden is going to take his about 6-7 step-back threes a game, which in an ISO-heavy centric type of flow might benefit a team like the Sixers, because those other guys are just standing still watching them.
That's how I look at it, Stan.
You are
Thanks for the call, brother.
He's my favorite basketball caller that we talk to.
So you're now Team Andrew and Stan, huh?
No. But I'm open to listening, and I think I think it's some really, really interesting stuff, and I think Stan brings that up. But there is nobody who agrees with you guys that the Cleveland Cavaliers are less of a threat today than they were before. They, in fact, are considered a much more of a threat to win an NBA title today than they were yesterday.
I saw that trade go down yesterday, and I said, okay, I think this actually benefits the Sixers from a matchup standpoint. That's how I looked at it.
Let me be clear, right? It doesn't turn him into Oklahoma City.
Correct.
It doesn't turn him into some of these other great teams we've seen in past years in the East, right? They're still just another team. I just think they're a better team today. And if you're believing in the Sixers, it's trying to make a run. It's worse for them that James Harden has just replaced Darius Garland.
These two teams might not face off against each other.
Yeah, we don't even know.
Right? Like, there's a legit chance that they never face off against each other. But if they do, which, by the way, is a possibility because the Cavs are the 5 seed tied with Toronto, who are the 4 seed. Sixers are half game back of both those teams. There is a chance where your 4-5 matchup could be Cleveland versus Philadelphia.
And I'm telling you right now, I would not pick the Sixers to win that series. I'd pick it to be a good series, but I would not pick them. I would not pick it to be.
We can open up that.
What about when they trade for Giannis?
Yeah,
please.
That's not happening. By the way, we don't even know if Giannis is getting traded at this point. It's crazy. Wild trade in the NBA yesterday with the Utah Jazz. A team that needs to rebuild is trading 3 first-round picks for a solid player, very good player in Jaren Jackson Jr. I didn't understand that trade. I understand it from Memphis' standpoint because they're just going to tank and try to rebuild. The Jazz move was kind of questionable. They got length, but they're 15 and 35. This is a long-term move.
You brought that up yesterday. I didn't understand the move I didn't like at this point. That seemed like a strange move.
3 first-round picks for a team that's been rebuilding for the last 10 years. That made no sense to me for
yeah,
Utah
that's
to do.
the Trae Young move that Washington made. It's just like, what is either side doing here?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I understood Memphis.
No. Yeah,
I
Memphis.
totally understood Memphis. I did not understand what the hell the Utah Jazz were doing. And then Minnesota was a part of a 3-team deal yesterday where they freed up money, which is why a lot of people are thinking that could be where Giannis ends up going. But there's also a lot of conflicting reports that he just might not get traded at all this year from Milwaukee.
Well, Doc Rivers sort of saying, I've talked to Giannis and he wants to stay.
So there's your
Which
NBA.
is strange.
There's your NBA update.
That was interesting, though. That was a really good conversation on that.
All right, coming up next, we mentioned that today is the 8-year anniversary of Super Bowl 52. Where did the time go? 8 years already. My God, how my life has changed in the last 8 years. How much everybody's lives have changed in the last 8 years. How often do you go back and think of that day? Or are you more of a Super Bowl 59 guy or a future person? This is a mindset question. We'll get into it next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Well, thinking about your future is what Dan White and Associates is built on. I mean, for almost 40 years now, they have been helping people specializing in retirement and financial planning. And how they do that is they address each client's unique individual needs, and they stress test your retirement plan for you. They take a different approach than a lot of advisors do by educating their clients on retirement planning, and they help you create income in retirement to support the lifestyle that you want to live. They're going to help you find certainty in your financial future. Now, I understand discussions about money can be intimidating, so why don't you go be a passive listener? Go to one of their educational seminars that they host throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. You can find out more about them at danwhiteandassociates.com. Go, have a nice meal, listen to their presentation, and then you could set up your own complimentary no-risk consultation. So it's private. It's just you and the team, and you can then find out what they could potentially do for you. Make sense of your unique needs. That complimentary no-risk consultation awaits you. danwhiteandassociates.com. They're great people. They take a unique approach, and to be in business 4 decades, they're doing something right. Check out danwhiteandassociates.com on the web.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big night for the rookie. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both found wins last night as the teams draw closer to respective midseason breaks. The Sixers took a 113-94 win over the Warriors late last night, and VJ Edgecombe played the star in this one.
103-86 Sixers, 2 seconds. VJ hangs, fires, puts it up and in. An incredible shot by Edgecombe, and the Sixers lead 105-86. VJ with 23.
He'd finished the game with 25 points. The Sixers are off tonight as they move closer to both the trade deadline, which is tomorrow, and the All-Star break. The Flyers had a nice night of their own, beating the Caps 4-2. Dan Vladar, an outstanding night in net. They got one more game before the Olympic break. They'll host the Senators on Thursday. And as of today, we're officially 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting down to Clearwater for the Phillies. Might not feel like it here in Philadelphia with the weather, but baseball season is right around the corner. Adam Schefter joining us is right around the corner. He comes on the show at 8:05 for the latest on NFL news and what's going on with the Birds. Kevin Kurz, who covers the Flyers for The Athletic, joins us at 9:05 to talk a little bit about the developing story with the Matvei Michkov situation. This update is brought to you by Uber Eats. Philly, you hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Catrachita Food Truck. From now until June 30th, get a buy one, get one deal on select items on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
7 a.m. hours brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is 7:30 on this Adam Schefter Wednesday. Shefty joins us in about 35 minutes, 8:05. Last week, if you remember, he said at the end of the interview, by the way, there could be more information or more news. And we're guessing it was the Vic Fangio rumors, so we'll ask Shefty that coming up at 8:05, and, of course, talk more about the upcoming Eagles offseason. Our question today at 610-632-0975. Changes coming. We know it. There already has been changes. Who and what's the biggest impact change for the Eagles?
If it is the Vic Fangio rumors, I can tell you what my question for him is. Then that goes counter to what I've heard as far as it's after Christian Parker takes the Dallas job. It's after Jonathan Gannon takes the Green Bay job. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's malpractice on the Eagles' part. If they didn't have a set and sure answer from Vic Fangio and they let all those things happen, that to me is bad.
The other question I will have, last week when we had him on, we brought up Declan Doyle and why he chose to stay in Chicago. And part of Adam Schefter's explanation was, well, he didn't see somewhere that he wanted, and Chicago was closer to his family.
Perfect.
And then a few days later, he got hired by the Baltimore Ravens to be their offensive coordinator.
Well, he had a great uncle he found in Baltimore.
Well, my first joke to John off the air was, I don't think Baltimore is that much closer than Chicago. It's kind of like when J.J. Redick said he wanted to stay in Philadelphia because he could take the train to his family in Brooklyn, and then he goes to New Orleans in free agency.
And where is his family from, though?
Who?
Doyle's.
I think
Iowa,
he said
right?
Iowa, yeah.
Yeah, it's not necessarily close.
No, I know. I was joking.
I mean, it could potentially be closer.
Yeah, I'm not a geography major.
Yeah, it's not.
But
coming directly across, Baltimore could be closer.
Yeah, but the reasoning why he stayed in Chicago was because of the family.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And then literally
doesn't make a lot of
few
sense.
days later, he goes to Baltimore.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Why did he not want to come here? Is ultimately
we got to find out. That's the kind of stuff.
We'll figure that out with Shefty.
If it was about family, then maybe the family thing was a fake excuse.
May have been. All right, one more note on the Harden trade to Cleveland. I was talking to our great YouTube producer, Austin Jones, during the break. He's Team Salciunas, Team Stan from Drexel Hill, not Team John and Connor. Mm-hmm. If you're just tuning in, John and I both had totally polar opposite reactions. James Harden going to Cleveland. I go, actually, I think this benefits the Sixers from a matchup standpoint. You and Connor think it makes them more of a viable contender. One thing that I will say another thing I will say that benefits the Sixers. Slows the game down.
Yeah. It definitely changes the speed of the game.
Is there any team more than the Sixers that need the game to slow down?
But the Sixers had no problem with the speed of the game. That wasn't what the problem was.
I'm saying
with the Cleveland Cavaliers, just watching them play this season, it hasn't been the Cavaliers' speed keeping up with their speed that was a problem. It was the fact is they couldn't cover their shooters and they bombed away from.
Yeah, but it wasn't just they weren't bombing when they played in half-court sets. They were on the break and then creating shots that way because that's what Cleveland did. So now with James Harden's good on the break. Harden will find an outlet guy. Harden's still a great facilitator. I still like James Harden. But it's going to slow down what they do, which if there's any team and any specific player that benefits from that over the course of a best-of-7 game series, it's Embiid.
Yeah, that's very fair.
That's fair.
Like that.
No, that's fair.
That benefits
it's the coverage of the NBA. You and Stan are definitely on an island, though.
That's fine.
People all believe that the Cavaliers took a closer step.
The James Harden playoff breakthrough season is still upon us.
I absolutely, and as somebody who's always been a James Harden, it's like this is a total change of script for you.
Yeah, because I like James Harden.
Because you've always been a believer that he can come through and everything, and I've always told you I think he's a choker.
And let's be clear, right, about the James Harden thing. Sure, he hasn't won a finals, but we're talking about potentially a first-round series matchup. Could he knock somebody out?
But if it goes seven games.
James Harden early in a playoff series is totally fine. Early in the playoffs, he's completely fine. It's when the pressure starts to build that he's not. That's when when he starts thinking about, can I get to Vegas on a day off?
Yeah, that was still such a
is
wild.
there pressure? Is there pressure in the series?
That was such a wild story.
I'll never forget. Honestly, it was the day before.
He's flying out to Vegas
because nobody had the balls to tell him no.
He could have went to AC, right? No, he flies to Vegas
because nobody had the balls to tell him no. Because they just let him do whatever he wanted to do.
It is the anniversary of Super Bowl 52. Happy anniversary, Philadelphia. 8 years ago today, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Everybody remembers their first. You could talk about many topics when it comes to that. Everybody remembers their first. So this Super Bowl 52 will never lose its lure for a lot of people. But I'm curious, now that the Eagles have won another one, and now that we have talked more about the D word than ever before, right? After the Eagles won the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 52, nobody was saying dynasty. Nobody was. Well, no, I wanted them to grow and build and be a dynasty. I wanted them to trade Nick Foles that offseason because I did not think that they'd get a better offer ever.
I never thought the Super Bowl champs of 2017 were going to be a dynasty.
No, I never did either.
I never thought they were winning the Super Bowl the next year.
Which is why I hated a lot of the contracts that they gave out at the time.
Yeah.
I was an enemy. It was pretty rough timing for me to get my crack at hosting because I always speak my piece in the way I believe it, and there were a lot of players that I was like, thanks, bye.
Yes.
And a lot of fans did not feel that way, and the Eagles didn't feel that way, so I was an ass.
The way that I admire Alshon Jeffrey for the way he played, I never would have given him another contract.
No, and they gave him a 3-year deal, and I was like, "What are
a good money contract?
What are you doing?"
It's sort of like, I would liken it to the JT Realmuto contract the Phillies just gave him, but JT never gave us the title.
Right.
I mean, Alshon gave us a lot more.
Right. So when they did that, there were a lot of contracts. So I questioned why they did it. But now that we have been talking about consistency. I'm not saying Super Bowl 52 has lost its luster at all. But, do you think back more to 52? Do you think more about 59 where it was a beatdown? Connor, you and I were at Patty Wax together. The third quarter, we were saying they won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Like a dominant beatdown.
As soon as the dagger went, I know we have text.
Oh, my God.
I know we have text that was like, it's over, boys.
Yeah, they might as well start making your walk
It's
to
over,
Broad
boys.
Street now.
Yeah, I was like, and you guys, I'm leaving now. I think Connor texted, I want to leave now, but I can't or something.
Yeah, because we were working. Because we were doing the watch
Start
party.
leaving now because it's going to be crazy. I'm a Super Bowl 59 guy.
Really?
And I think that puts me in the minority. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it does put you in the minority.
Absolutely. And I lived through twice as much bad Eagles football.
Yes,
you guys never lived through bad Eagles football for the most part. I lived through bad Eagles football and the generation of all this fat and happiness that you spoiled brats of Eagles football have lived through. I'm a Super Bowl 59 guy all day long. All day long. And I loved Super Bowl 52. It was awesome. And it's a memory that I'll cherish for a lifetime. But I'm a 59 guy because, to me, I always wanted that.
Right.
I always wanted that team, that moment. Super Bowl 52 seemed like a fluke.
Hell of a fluke.
No, but it seemed like a fluke.
Which is why it's more special to me.
Because of it's a special story, but it always seemed like I know this is not going to be repeated. Super Bowl 59, it's one of the reasons why this year's so disappointing.
Right, because you were expecting more.
It's
Connor,
because
where do you
that's
fall on this?
I'm in a weird spot, right? Because I had a major, major life change between 52 and 59. I wasn't in the industry for 52.
Sure.
I was on the damn pregame show for the station for 59. So I'm a 59 guy, but I think that perspective is very, very personal to me with how much more, talking about the team daily, doing sports talk radio, being so ingrained in the everyday of it compared to 52 just being outside observer. That's a major difference. So I'll always be a 59 guy because of that.
Connor may have just brought something to my attention, though, that I never thought of. I was 770 miles south for 52.
Yeah, you were here for 59.
And I was here for 59 for that whole season, which may have changed that, too. Good perspective, Connor. Not thinking of it in that regards. Even though I never followed the team less, I lived it day to day much more.
Right.
But the 52, the whole season, the whole 52 story seems like a Disney movie.
Yeah, that's why
a title.
That's why I'm a Disney guy.
But 59 is the team I always wanted. And is the team that's the one I always wanted.
Yeah, like Andrew, for 52, you're sitting here with Cuz telling stories about guys, ghosts showing up and talking to him and stuff like that. You were ingrained. I was sitting selling mortgages. I watched the game.
Yeah.
As a fan, I saw them win, but it's different. And this is very personal to us in the room.
Of course,
it's
a personal. You're right. This is a personal conversation.
And I'm sure every guy in their car, lady in their car right now, or for our folks on YouTube or everything, can share theirs too. Because I'm sure they all have their own. It's supposed to be personal. When you win a championship, it's supposed to be personal. Like, I hate the 2008 championship, the way it went down for the Phillies, the way the split game went down. I hate it because I think it took away from that championship.
Really? I think it adds to the story.
I don't. No.
I think it adds because it's different.
It sucked. That championship, that game, it sucked.
All our championships are weird.
It sucked.
Yeah, dude,
that was weird.
You remember when I said Philadelphia Eagles can't exist without drama? Neither can this city.
Yeah.
We can't win normal things.
All right. So what do you want? What do you want the terminology to be? Which one do you appreciate?
Which one do you? No. How about this? Which one do you
think more about?
Associate more.
Right.
Do you consider yourself more a 59 guy or a 52 guy?
I think people get what we're asking.
Yeah.
I
all
think
right.
so.
I want reaction to this
because
that's really interesting. Once again, you guys are both on the same page here.
And you
I'm not.
thought I was going to say 52.
Yeah, because it was, you didn't know if you'd see it.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting.
All right, let's talk about it. 610-632-0975. Happy anniversary for some of us, I guess. Not all you love it as much.
We all love it, but it's there.
Stop.
Get out.
We'll get reaction to that. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas next. Also, speaking of Connor, Johnny, we're going to help Connor date his dream girl. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
I'm going to tell you want a live bet? I'm going to live bet that Connor gets that date with his dream girl.
I wouldn't take that.
I don't think the BetParks app is actually listing it yet, but I know the BetParks app has everything you need to know on the big game. Pro basketball, hockey, and the big game. There's always other ways to win. The BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. It's so amazing. It's the only app that I recommend to you. It's got your favorite casino games, too, the classic games right there on your phone. So let's say you got a doctor's appointment or something. You can play blackjack, craps, roulette, hundreds of online slots, Triple Cash Eruption, Tiger Jones, and Cleopatra, plus all your favorite sports, and that's what you're into this week. Are you already looking at the prop bets for the big game? You can. The BetParks app's got it all, and you can live bet any game. New users, how about this? Get up to $1,000 in casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. That's pretty good. They don't let you do that at the real casinos. BetParks.com's got the details for you. So whether your team scores or not, whether you win the point spread bets or not, there's always other ways to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. You got to be 21, Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Michigan. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
97.5 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
All right, did we get any immediate responses on the text line there, Connor? Super Bowl 52, 8-year anniversary today. And I asked the question. I asked it because I thought there would be people. I was just surprised that it's the two guys I do the show with, that there are some people that would probably look back at 59 more fondly because, to your point, John, it was a beatdown. It's the team that you always wanted. I look at Super Bowl 52 because of the Disney movie aspect and the just sheer,
it's an incredible
sheer shock of it all.
I mean, it was incredible. It was, look, they're both awesome.
No, I know.
But
right,
to me, it's the idea that I say, to me, 59 was just exactly what I wanted. 59 is exactly what I wanted. I wanted that team. I wanted that kind of beatdown. That's what I wanted.
Connor, anything on the text line?
Yeah, we got a couple people who agree with John and I. Mitch in Connecticut says 59 because of the sheer enjoyment for the entire game. 52 was stressed to the end.
It was.
And Jim in Nazareth says 59 means more to me. 52 was awesome with the incredible story with Nick Foles, but a lot of the roster was just a bunch of mercenaries. 59 was a bunch of homegrown talent that went all the way in dominant fashion.
And that's a great point. That's why the 08 Phillies so loved, right? Because it was homegrown guys, right? Chooch, Howard, Utley, Rollins,
Cole,
Hamels, your MVP.
Much more identifiable.
Victorino not homegrown, but Rule 5.
But like you had never seen Victorino anywhere else.
Jason Worth, Rule 5. Pat Burrell, homegrown, right? The Pedro Feliz was the only guy that wasn't. He was their acquisition. So that's why 08 is so loved. So that makes sense as to why that would be the case. All right, before we get to today's headlines, can we help Connor get a date?
Probably not, but
do you
I'd
know
like
who
to see
I'm Do you know who I'm talking about?
No clue.
They had to hang a pork chop around his neck to get the dog to play with him.
All right. Would you, I'm not even saying for this person, would you ever go skydiving?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want to.
Of course he would.
All right. And you would climb a mountain?
Sure. I want to climb Everest one day. I never will, but
really?
I want to.
Wow.
Last Thursday, in the Cosmopolitan magazine, Sydney Sweeney gave her specific looks for a boyfriend. The star is looking for an athletic, outgoing, funny partner, who is willing to join her on adventurous activities like skydiving or climbing mountains.
I'm screwed.
No.
Did you already see who put his hat in the ring? Puka Nakua, immediately after this, made sure to mention next time he was behind a microphone, hey, I like skydiving.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Puka Nakua is gone a lot. You would be
that's his issue.
You would be every beck and call. She continues by saying, it takes a very specific person who can handle the world that comes with me. Because let's face it, she's all over the place.
She is.
And almost everything is all over the place. Right?
Listen, you can exist in Philly sports media. You can handle any world.
She said there was a guy who I really, really liked, but he told me he couldn't handle my world. So would you be able to handle everything being expressed?
Sydney, I could handle your world.
All right. Let's try to make this happen.
Cousin Matt wants to get in the ring, too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to. There's a lot of people want to get in the ring.
He says, how do you get me in contact with Ms. Sweeney?
All right, it's time now for today's headlines with former Mr. Sweeney, or future Mr. Sweeney.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Yeah, you're taking her last name, by the way.
For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring headlines and giving me a segue out of that.
Sydney Thomas doesn't flow.
That name's already taken by the ring girl.
You're going to be Connor Sweeney.
There you go.
All right, let's start out with Milton Williams. And let's get it back to sports a little bit here. So Milton Williams.
This is sports. She said she's looking for an athlete.
You had a lot of conversation ahead of the Super Bowl with Patriots and Seahawks players getting a bunch of the random questions. And Milton Williams was asked about the differences between the fan bases in New England and Philadelphia.
I would probably say New England is probably more passionate. Philly fan, like, they don't care about nothing. They gonna do whatever. They gonna, like, it's even, but, like, I feel like the Patriots fan, they don't want to get in trouble. Philly fan, they don't care about that. They don't care if they go to jail or do whatever.
Milton Williams is so full of crap.
Yeah, look, he's
more passionate. The New England Patriots, and again, you guys are too young to remember this.
That they used to suck.
Before Tom Brady was there, they were last in the league in attendance.
Yeah.
There was no Patriots Nation. There was none of that. They were last in the NFL in attendance.
Well, yeah, but he plays for the team. And they're,
yeah, but
they're in the Super Bowl.
Don't say they're more.
Everybody does that. You play for the team, you're going to back up those fans.
You're more passionate? No, they're not.
He's trying to throw bones both ways.
Well,
yeah, look.
It's a joke.
A joke.
I
totally understood his answer.
You did?
Yeah, the biggest criminal answer ever was Javon Hargrave when he signed with the 49ers and said, you know what? If Brock Purdy didn't get hurt, I think they would have won that game. Like, that was the most egregious thing. By the way, if I'm any member of the Eagles defense that went to war with Javon Hargrave that season, I would have texted him immediately, like, screw you, dude. But that one for Millen, he's going to throw his bone to the team that he plays for, but then also say, don't worry, Philly. I love you guys.
And he gets it, man. He knows the nutcases we have in this fan base, us included. Now, there is some pettiness going on at the Pro Bowl. I know we're going to talk more about the Pro Bowl a little bit later. But Patrick Surtain was asked about his prediction for the Super Bowl. Pat Surtain, of course, playing for the Broncos, who lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. I think there might be a little resentment here.
You guys score prediction for Super Bowl 60? 35-7, Seattle.
Just absolutely predicting the blowout there.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Is there anything wrong with that?
No,
Why not? Sure.
Yeah, he's not going to root for the team that beat him or predict the team that beat him.
Yeah, that's
fine.
fine.
He's right.
No, it's not going to be that. No.
No, I think it's going to be.
They're not getting blown out like that. No.
I think it's going to be a tight, low-scoring game. I think the
tight, low-scoring game, man.
Yeah, I feel like this game's going to play out the way everybody kind of is already blah about it. Like 24-20, something like that, which is great theater. I just like this game. You got to feel bad for the people that are trying to market this game.
Yeah,
I'm not buying.
Tough sell.
Yeah,
usually the Super Bowl is like the easiest sell in the world. And
I
this
hate
is
it.
like,
I hate to sound that way. Not criticizing how you're sounding, but I hate to sound that way because it does sound like a bunch of sour grapes. But I've never been less enthused for a Super Bowl in my life.
This game is I'm watching because of it. Because it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if this was a Thursday night game in the regular season, we're not checking it out.
I don't know.
I'm not that excited about this game at all. Really
I'll place a couple wagers.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the last game. FanDuel's doing the last call for football.
Right.
I'll do a couple things, but this isn't man, can't wait.
Yeah, gotta have that.
I can.
Yeah.
I want Friday and Saturday to go really slow for me. I want to enjoy my weekend. All right. Coming up next, Adam Schefter joins us. He left us some crumbs last week.
Oh, he's going to love us going back and saying, well, what were you saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm waiting for this one.
There's a lot to get into with Shefty. That comes your way next. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
When I tell you, I am so happy to have a Bradford White water heater, I'm not lying. And you got to find out what a Bradford White water heater can do for you. Your family's going to stay comfortable and content with all the hot water you ever need. Now, I'm using the hall shower because we had to do some maintenance on the master shower. And I can tell you, first of all, it's really small. But I can tell you that all the hot water there goes just as effectively as it goes anywhere else in the house. If your current water heater isn't getting the job done, I know Sean Brace was complaining the other day, he needs a new Bradford White. But you don't go to a big box store and say, yeah, get me one off the shelf and I'm going to bring it home and I'm going to get out a wrench and put it in myself. No. You get a Bradford White by going to BradfordWhite.com and get in touch with a plumbing professional near you, and then they're going to help you find the perfect model for your home. You may want one of their new Infinity tankless models or the Aerotherm hybrid heat pump models. These things are really, really efficient and save you a bunch of cash because they're so efficient as far as heating the water, but also all the hot water you ever need on demand. Or you might just want a 25, 50, 75-gallon Mac Daddy for your home, too, or your business. They're built to be the best right here in America using the finest components. Plus, they're a Philly company, so they understand you. Ask your plumbing professional. They know. Bradford Whites are the best. So go to BradfordWhite.com. Learn more. Find that pro near you.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A great night in net. I'm Connor Thomas, and that's what Dan Vladar had last night for the Flyers. Flyers and Sixers both finding victories. For the Flyers, they took down the Capitals 4-2, and man, the netminder was on his game last night.
Not the center ice. Here comes Washington right back in. Duhaim's got a man going to the net. Oh, a great save by Dan Vladar, closing the 5-hole as Lapierre tried to tuck him through him, and Vladar said nothing doing.
Great call by Tim Saunders there. That game was over on WMMR last night. The Flyers have the night off, and they have one more game before the Olympic break. They'll host the Senators tomorrow. The Sixers, they beat the Warriors 113-94 last night out in the Bay Area. VJ Edgecombe had an awesome night leading the way for the Sixers. 25 points for him. Sixers are off tonight. Tomorrow is the NBA trade deadline, so we'll be watching that closely to see if any news breaks for them. As of today, we're officially 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater for the Phillies, so baseball season is right around the corner as well. Adam Schefter of ESPN joins us coming up next for his latest intel on what's going on around the league and with the Eagles. Kevin Kurtz, who follows the Flyers and covers them for The Athletic, joins us at 9:05. This update's brought to you by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 8 a.m. on this Adam Schefter Wednesday morning here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Sorry, I was getting my potassium fill.
Your potassium pill?
Phil. No, I'm not
Phil.
Paul
No,
George.
he's eating a banana.
Oh, sorry. That's
Okay.
unfair. I was eating a banana. Yeah, I had to finish my banana. Man.
Okay.
There's nothing worse than when you're salivating, like trying to talk on the radio. I don't like that. It's not fun. So I was making sure.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think anybody likes that.
Everything was taken care of. That's
You're
all.
salivating.
All right. Adam Schefter joins us coming up in 5 minutes. Salivating to talk to Shefty.
Oh, I bet
Because-
he's salivating to talk to us after last week. He was very happy.
Yeah, I just
He got a lot of grief last week. So
I
I'm
just have some questions for our man Shefty.
Okay.
And you know, the news thing, I'm not more so on that. It's the Declan Doyle, like what happened. Not that I'm not going to sit here and scream that the Eagles needed Declan Doyle.
That story, though, is the one that interests you the most as far as what went down last week?
Well, just because I wonder when Declan Doyle was no longer a candidate for the Eagles,
right?
His reasoning was he wanted to stay with Ben Johnson for another year, plus there's the added benefit bonus of him being close to his home. And then a couple days later, a lot of people were surprised by it, but he then gets hired by Baltimore.
He wanted to coach that quarterback, not this one.
Yeah, I mean, if
Mystery
I'm looking
solved.
at
Well,
Lamar
that's
Jackson,
what I'm trying to get at.
I think the mystery solved.
Is there anyone on the planet that wouldn't?
The mystery is solved. He's got Lamar.
If you're
That's what
playing Madden, you're taking Lamar
you're
over
taking
Hurts.
Lamar over Hurts.
No, I get that, but what was the reason? Because remember,
Well, there's
it,
no
it
mystery.
wasn't just a Schefter report. It was Declan Doyle is returning to Chicago. Everybody was saying it, not just Adam Schefter.
Right. Well, they didn't.
That job was available. The Baltimore job was available.
Well,
when
they hadn't asked to speak to him, so there
Okay.
was is the thing. But I don't think there's any mystery. I mean, if you have the two jobs, and I don't think it's any slight to Jalen Hurts, you're coaching Lamar.
Right. Lamar's one of the top four
Because
guys
also
in the
what
NFL.
For what he wants to do offensively, Gosh.
And we also don't know that the Eagles would have picked Declan Doyle over Sean Mannion.
Yeah, we don't.
Right. We don't know that.
No idea.
That is fair. All right. What do we got on the text line, Connor? So far this morning, what we've been asking you. First, the change is coming for the Eagles. You just know it happens every year. There's always turnover in football, but just who might not be back and how much of an impact their absence will be. There are still a lot of people that believe A.J. Brown will be back, a lot of fans that believe that A.J. Brown will be back.
We want that, by the way.
We are
uniform in wanting that, because I have somebody in an email here going, well, you guys can't wait till he's out of town. I said, first of all, not one of us wants him out of town.
No, I want him back.
He says, you're so critical of what A.J. did last year. And I'm like, yes, I am. But I want him here. And I can tell you that A.J. is still, and I've said it to you many times, he's still very, very popular as a person.
Right.
And I believe there are many teammates who think the world of him. But I can tell you that there are teammates that might not think the world of all he did this year.
Right.
It can be two things.
And so if he gets traded, that's a big impact, because then you have to go out and get someone else.
Absolutely.
Either using draft capital, paying, and the free agent market's not, there's no A.J. Brown on the free agent market.
You are not going and getting a aging Tampa Bay receiver.
Right. Or you're trading, you're doing another A.J. Brown-like trade where you're trading for a guy and then reworking their contract and giving them an extension.
I'm not putting that past Howie. To be able to do something like that, that can be done.
But if A.J. Brown gets traded, there's questions. Like, all right, how are you going to replace A.J. Brown? It's one thing to replace somebody that may be upset with the situation. It's then, all right, well, how are you going to replace the person that's upset that's still talented? This isn't a guy that's upset and you're wondering, well, what the hell are you upset about? Like, this is a very talented player that you're going to be missing. So that's one of our topics. And then, of course, we got into the Super Bowl 52 versus 59 discussion, where a lot of people pro 59 over 52.
And Connor and I are both pro 59 over 52.
And all our texts have been 59 so far. We'll get to more text messages.
It was so amazing.
Coming up in a little bit. You can text the show 610-632-0975. But before we do that, let's go to our man from ESPN, the great Adam Schefter, joins us every single Wednesday at 8:05. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning. Early in the Bay Area here right now.
I can't believe you. You're so good to get up with us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing that. What's been the most buzz so far surrounding, other than the game itself, around league circles? It's the Super Bowl.
I don't know. Got here Sunday, went to opening night. Yesterday, switched hotels, came downtown. I didn't realize this is a huge drop by me, and I'm a little mad at you guys, that the Sixers were in town last night against the Warriors until about an hour before. I'm like, oh my God, I could have gone to that game.
Could have watched your fantasy team, yeah.
Yeah, and VJ was awesome last night, so thank you, VJ.
Well, I mean, it's everybody's saying about how this venue, though, that it's very spread out. Like the other night, it was an hour and 40 minutes people traveled to go to Super Bowl opening night. It's a little strange considering some of the other venues where, like in New Orleans and things like that, where everything's much, much closer.
Well, coming off New Orleans, that does feel like the biggest difference. In New Orleans, you just walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everything is very convenient. You guys were there last year. You remember. This year, opening night was in San Jose at the convention center, and then I went back to a hotel in Palo Alto, and then yesterday I drove from Palo Alto to downtown San Francisco, and Sunday morning when we're going out to do Sunday Countdown at Levi Stadium, it's going to be probably, I'm going to guess an hour and 15 minutes.
Easily.
Yeah, plenty of planning that you're going to have to do other than just preparing for the shows itself. Shefty, so last week when we had you on toward the end of the conversation, as I'm sure you know, your name made its rounds all around Philadelphia for a couple of days. So we're curious. Eagles, of course, did hire Sean Mannion, an offensive coordinator. So your thoughts on Sean Mannion? And then what was the other crumb that you dropped for us? Was it Vic Fangio related?
Well, first of all, when all I said was, you said we'll be back next week to talk about our offense coordinator and more. I said that's it.
And maybe something else, and maybe something more.
And maybe something more, and maybe something. So I've never realized that 4 words to gain that much traction and incite such rampant speculation in the city and unleash the hounds.
I'm sorry about
talking about.
I'm sorry about your phone, and I did apologize to you. I'm sorry I unleashed the hounds on you.
That was a little overdone. And let me say this: there's always a lot of things. Let me say this: I could end every episode every week and say, "And there could be more," and more.
Can you do that again today?
Well, I think I think I'm done dropping crumbs. I'll just hold on to. Well, first of all, I knew that there could be, for starters, additional offensive help in addition to the offensive coordinator, Josh Grisard.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and more, right?
There we go.
So does that solve the puzzle?
That does, and yes,
or the Vic Fangio thing. He's thought about that before. Like, there's nothing overly dramatically new there.
Well, there is something dramatic. There is something dramatic about it, though, because this team. I mean, you had Christian Parker, who I've been told by everyone that I trust in that building that if Vic Fangio was to tap somebody on the shoulder and say, "I'm retiring," he would have said, "Pick him to succeed him." So they let him walk out of the building. They reportedly talked to Jonathan Gannon and to Jim Schwartz as backup plans in case Vic did walk away. That's pretty dramatic, Adam. I mean, like, to try to worry about what
they're not allowed to touch Jim Schwartz. If they did, then they tampered.
Well, then maybe they didn't. That's the reports that they had reached out to Jim Schwartz. That was what reportedly was the reports out of here. Not by us, but it was the reports.
Well, that would be tampering because he's in the contract to the Browns.
Okay, well, then that's news there, too. It would be tampering if anybody reported that.
Yeah. So, again, and there are other things going on. So there's always stuff going on. So, anyway, but they settled their offensive staff, Sean Mannion. I think that guy, he's got the Sean McVay pixie dust attached to him, the Kevin O'Connell pixie dust attached to him. And I think eventually at some point in time he'll be a head coach in the league. He's got a real chance to grow into that role, and I think they think he's incredibly bright and incredibly capable. And Josh Grisard they bring in to help with the pass game, and I think they're very impressed with him too. So, look, it's new ideas and new blood and new perspectives coming in, and I think they believe in these guys, and I think that they believe that it'll help jumpstart the offense.
What are some of the top things you've heard about Mannion? Because, when his name was coming up, everybody was saying the same thing, that there are people that think he is destined to be a head coach in the NFL. What makes him work here in Philadelphia with this specific situation? Is he a guy with all this respect that will have all the keys to the offense? What are some of the things you've heard about Mannion?
Basically, as you said, he's got a very bright future. He's very smart. Very well schooled, been around the right people, totally gets it. I always feel like in this business there are people who get it and people who don't get it, and it sounds like he does. I don't know him personally, but he's been around the right people, and when you say give him the keys to the I don't know, he's the offensive coordinator. Whatever that means, he's going to be obviously have a heavy influence into how the Eagles' offense is run this upcoming season.
Do you like the idea that now they have turned the keys over to him, from what you've heard? Because what the big concern is here is that this has been a very, very conservative, close to the vest, rather boring offensive approach the last few years. Are they going to let Mannion and Grisard cook?
Well, of course they are. When you say turn over the keys, you make it sound like an offensive coordinator in any city gets a job and he's not given the keys.
All right, I'll take you back 2 years. They brought in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore came in here and ran an offense that Adam, I studied everything he did in Dallas, and I was so excited for it. Then he came in here, and he ran an offense that was unrecognizable to anything that he ran before or anything that he ran after. So we do have concerns about that.
Well, I think when you bring in outside ideas like that and you double down on it with two different perspectives and two different ideas, I mean, if you're not letting them cook and you're not letting them do what they're hired to do, then you're making a mistake.
Adam Schefter with us here on Kincade and Salciunas. One other candidate, Adam, last week, Declan Doyle, who is a name much like Sean Mannion, getting a lot of buzz as young as he is. When we had you on, it was after the news came out that he was staying in Chicago, and we wondered why. And part of your reasoning was another year to learn under Ben Johnson. And then, of course, he's close to his family. And then a few days later, he gets hired by Baltimore. So is it a didn't necessarily want to come to Philadelphia situation, just intrigued by Lamar Jackson, which I don't blame anybody for feeling that way? What happened to the change in Declan Doyle's status?
A few things. I think, first of all, his family has a relationship with the Ravens general manager, Eric DeCosta.
Okay.
Eric and his father, who I believe is the strength coach at Iowa, or was the strength coach at Iowa, they've known each other and been friendly for a long period of time, for starters. Number two, you're right, Lamar Jackson's there. I think that's awfully appealing. You also have a defensive head coach. So when you're talking about getting the keys, you truly get the keys. And there's no questions or doubts. And I think those are the primary factors that lure him to Baltimore.
The off season for the Eagles is going to be one that we're talking about. The buzz of this off season and how things are going to break down. Do you believe this is going to be a very, very active offseason for free agents in the NFL as it has been in recent years? Or is now with the salary cap going up again significantly, I think 11 or 12 million, trades are going to be maybe more the norm? It's become something that you've covered much more. And there was a time in your life where trades were something that was more of an anomaly. We didn't see many of them.
Well, it's a great question. And what I would say to you is this, that when I've spoken to some teams and front offices, they've commented about how weak the free agent class is, generally speaking. Now, there will be some players, of course, that get plenty of attention and plenty of money. That happens every year. And every year free agency is a big deal. And there'll be again this year. But from what I understand, without delving too deep into it in advance, because I'm just not there yet, having basically just gotten through the coaching cycle, it's not a great free agent class. Teams have done a much better job of locking up players that they want to keep, identifying them, and making sure they don't leave. So when that happens, I think you're right. I think where we've seen a lot of trades in recent years, we'll probably see more trades than usual, would be my guess going in, because if you can't upgrade your roster through free agency, you will look to do it in other ways. And so the byproduct of a poor free agent class would probably lead to an uptick in trade activity.
Now,
would be my initial guess.
How much does that also impact the return on some trades? We obviously know that there is going to be plenty of talk about A.J. Brown and whether or not he's moved this offseason by the Philadelphia Eagles, whether he wants it, the Eagles want it. What have you been hearing in terms of what could come in return for Philadelphia? And when you mention the lack of free agents or really great free agents, does that actually benefit the Eagles on a return?
I think teams are going to be motivated. Everyone's going to be motivated to upgrade their roster. So what's the best way to do that? If you can't do it in free agency, you're going to be more anxious to do it in a trade. But, if you're trading A.J. Brown, I don't know what the return would be on an A.J. Brown. I mean, I personally think the Eagles would want a one if they even entertained it. I don't know if they will. At least a one. And I don't know. We're just talking. What would you estimate they could get for A.J. Brown if they traded him tomorrow? What's your guess?
Because of the contract that he has, the albatross of a contract, I believe back end of the second round, if you're talking about a bad team, a good team.
Like a New England or Buffalo.
If you're talking about a good team, maybe a back end second round pick and a front of the third round pick if you're talking about a bad team. I think it's that range because that contract is a lot for someone to assume. And it's probably going to rule out certain teams to be able to take that on within their cap.
But there are certain teams desperate enough at wide receiver.
Oh, we're hoping.
And especially if you
if we don't want him to leave, but we're hoping.
And by the way, let's bring up New England or Buffalo. New England's going to be picking 31 or 32. Buffalo's picking, what are they, 25, 26,
Yes.
somewhere in that range.
We'll
Yeah,
take.
I'm
take
just telling you, I'd be really surprised if Philadelphia wanted to move him. If Philadelphia didn't initially ask for a 1, that would really surprise me.
Well,
I'm not telling you they're getting that.
Right.
I'm not telling you they're getting that, but I'm telling you they're starting there.
If they're going to be the best thing in the world for Howie Roseman would be to have Buffalo and New England both at the table. Correct? 2 teams in the same division.
Oh yeah, that would be ideal.
Yeah, because then Howie might get it. You maybe could get it first. Shake him down for that.
But again, there are enough teams around the league that could use wide receiver help. That if that's the route you want to go, but it has to be a team that feels like it's close and that A.J. Brown would make the difference. And again, that's if Philadelphia wound up trading him, which is still up in the air. It definitely could happen, but it wouldn't shock me if it didn't.
Last thing for you, Shefty. We saw that the interim executive for the NFL Players Association, David White, said players, quote, have no appetite for an 18th game. Some things are inevitable. How long do you think it may take until there's an 18th game, if ever, in the NFL?
Well, I think the CBA runs through 2030, and we're in 2026, and I wouldn't expect him to say anything other than that. Mm-hmm. Like, well, why would you say, yeah, the players are open to it? No, we don't want it. We don't want it. Because the stronger you resist it now, it's just setting some barriers and laying some landmarks for a negotiation. And that's, to me, what this is going to be about. It's going to be a negotiation to find a deal that works for all sides. And the league, no matter what it says, is going to absolutely want 18 games. And it's going to want every team playing one international game. Every team during the course of the season. And so it's going to be up to finding the right formula that works for both sides. And as I've said, I see the formula like this. Right now, it's 3 preseason games, 17 weeks, 1 bye. 3, 17, 1. I think the future will be 2 preseason games. Not that anyone plays in a lot of these preseason games anyway, so there's not a great difference between 3 or 2. 18 weeks and 2 byes. So, if I were the player leader for the Philadelphia Eagles or any team, and I went to my collection of players and teammates and I said, what do you feel more comfortable with? 17 games, 1 bye, or 18 games, 2 byes, and more money? Which one do you like better?
Yeah.
18 games, 2 byes, more money.
And what the NFL Players Association always asks for, more time off, less practice time in pads, because they always ask for that.
Well, I don't know how much less practice time you could get.
Well, I mean, yeah, seriously, but the last 2 collective bargaining agreements, been one of their biggest gets. Less time in pads, less training camp, less off-season mandatory camps, things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, this is going to be about money.
There you go.
More than anything, it's always going to be about money. It has to be about money.
All right, Shefty, what are you leaving with us at the end of this call so that we can have a week of
For
content?
next week, yeah.
There's going to be more.
We appreciate it, man. Enjoy yourself out west, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Adam.
Have a great week, guys.
There he is, Adam Schefter on the line.
Appreciate him getting up at 5:21 in the morning.
We do appreciate it.
But he's up anyway.
All right, coming up next, something I'm going to take a guess, one that I almost want to bet my entire life savings account on. It's not much.
Coin toss.
Life savings?
Something took place last night that I didn't watch, and I'm betting that John and Connor didn't either. However, did we get an idea if we will watch it another day? It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, if this is the year you finally decided to make it official, you're going to ask her to be your life partner forever. The Valentine's Day proposal must involve a trip to Benari Jewelers, and it's running out your time because Benari's Bridal Bash only goes through this week, February the 7th, at their 2 locations in Exton and Newtown Square. Benari's Bridal Bash is awesome. It's going to save you cash. They've got you covered. No matter what kind of ring she's looking for, every size, every style, every color, all the top designers, everything that she's mentioned on her Instagram and her Pinterest dream board, you can take advantage of it with 12 months special financing on engagement rings, if approved, and wedding bands, plus something extra exciting. A chance to win $1,000 for you, just because you're going to be the best groom out there. They're going to make sure you save more, and they're even going to give you 1 year to finance it based on that approval. Benari's Bridal Bash is excellent. And in Exton and Newtown Square, they've got amazing teams that are ready to help you find the perfect ring for her. Don't miss it. The Bridal Bash only goes through the 7th at Benari Jewelers, Exton and Newtown Square. Check them out online at BenariJewelers.com.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
VJ leading the way. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both found wins last night as the teams get even closer to their mid-season breaks. For the Sixers, it was a 113-94 win over the Golden State Warriors out in the Bay Area. VJ Edgecombe had an awesome night leading the way for the Sixers' victory.
103-86 Sixers, 2 seconds. VJ hangs, fires, puts it up and in. An incredible shot by Edgecombe, and the Sixers lead 105-86. VJ with 23.
Great call by Tom McGinnis right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. VJ would finish with 25 points. The Sixers have the night off tonight. The trade deadline in the NBA is tomorrow. The Flyers had a nice night of their own. They beat the Caps 4-2. Dan Vladar, an outstanding night in net. They've got one more game before the Olympic break. They're off tonight, and they'll host the Senators tomorrow night. As of today, we're officially 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater for the Phillies. It might not feel like it temperature-wise here in Philly, but baseball season is right around the corner. Still talking about our winter sports teams, though, and to help us with that, Kevin Kurz of The Athletic covers the Flyers. He will join us at 9:05 for the latest on what's going on with the Matvei Michkov situation right now. This update's brought to you by Barbera's on the Boulevard, the hottest new SUV at the auto show. You saw it, now buy it at Barbera. High, wide, and handsome, big, bad, bodacious, rugged Jeep Cherokee, just $199 down. You're driving around Philly town. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Middays with Mark.
Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
Well, Ray Dunn, we're going to get into something that I know John and Connor did not watch. And I'm not talking highlights. I'm talking you actually put on the event. There's no shot in hell either of you watched a second of the flag football competition that took place. I'm not even going to say Pro Bowl because that's disgusting.
You are correct. Correct.
No.
Not
Exactly.
a shot, dude.
There is no shot in hell that you two fine gentlemen that live lives, and we all don't have that much time to spare. We spare it as much as we can to watch teams and spend time with family and friends and all that kind of stuff, that you weren't going to watch the atrocity that is the Pro Bowl game nowadays.
No, I was watching the Flyers win.
Damn
yeah,
right,
I mean,
man.
the Flyers got priority last night, and I had to teach yesterday, so I listened to Unfiltered on the way home, and then I did not. I didn't even watch GH or Young and the Restless. I mean, it was a big day.
Rough day for you.
It was a big day.
So the Pro Bowl game took place yesterday, which was the flag football game. I don't even want to say Pro Bowl because it's just disgusting. But anyways, the reason why I said going into the break is it an event that we will eventually watch. Not necessarily the Pro Bowl, but the sport of flag football itself. Jalen Hurts, from people that wrote about it, because I did not watch a second of it, balled out yesterday, guys. He balled out.
Oh, he did?
In a game, he threw three touchdown passes in a game where there's no effort whatsoever. But the reason why I bring it up, it wasn't long ago when Jalen Hurts was the face of the commercial that announced that the Olympics were coming to Los Angeles, the Summer Olympics 2028, right? The 2028 Summer Olympics, in which flag football will be the latest addition to the Olympics. Last time we had breakdancing. This time it'll be flag football.
I didn't even know we had breakdancing.
Oh, yeah. You don't remember the kangaroo lady?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do now.
She's from Brazil, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she was
Australia, dude.
Australia, sorry. She was from Australia. Like it took over the world.
Okay, I do remember now.
Where do you think kangaroos are from?
That's a good point.
Bucks County.
I was just thinking of the green because I remember her wearing a full green suit.
Yeah.
That's what I remember
Like the
most of
Riddler.
it.
She looked like the Riddler.
So flag football is coming to the Olympics in 2 years. Jalen Hurts was already the face of the football aspect of the commercial. Remember, he threw the football.
He did.
And then
He did.
the torch caught fire, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it was
right?
cool. It was very cool.
It was a great commercial.
Yeah.
And he's playing in it. The other thing that I found really intriguing, I did not watch any of the game, but the smile on Jalen Hurts' face, the fun that he was having, I wonder.
Was that Jalen Hurts?
I wonder who that is. Did he get cloned? Was that the UPS driver that looks just like Jalen Hurts? Remember that guy?
I thought it was Malcolm from Shamar Moore because I said the way he smiled. I've never seen that Jalen.
Personality. There was personality. I've seen Jalen smile one other time. He was tripping on something, talking about the snow. Remember after the divisional round of the playoffs?
That was a Jalen.
Man, I love this. This is what we play for.
That was a Jalen I've never seen. I mean, I've never seen.
Jalen Hurts is going to be in the Olympics and play flag football. Will we watch that?
Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will. I'm watching if he's playing flag football because I'm going to be holding my breath.
Right. Right.
Because of the stupidity of professional athletes having to compete.
I just
in the
my thing with the future of flag football in the Olympics. I don't know what other countries field notable players. Look, there's flag football in other countries. It's not just a sport here in the United States. Like, I remember when Tyreek Hill was saying he wanted to play for China or something like that.
China.
And I'm just like, okay. But how many players of note, like basketball, you actually have NBA players playing for countries.
Right.
The Olympics for hockey, there are NHL players playing for different countries. It's not just the United States versus Canada. Right? There's a lot of countries that have professional players that we know of. What's the draw for flag football?
Well, there are flag football adjacent sports, like Australian rules football. A lot of the world plays rugby, and I wonder how many people make the crossover from that. You have the CFL up in Canada. I don't think it'll be competitive to the United States, much like when basketball was at its heyday for the USA and they just cook everybody. But I do think there'll be other teams that'll have players whose names you recognize.
Yeah. It'll be kind of like Aaron Nola playing for Team Italy.
Yeah, I think you will see a lot of that as well.
I didn't know he was Italian because it's never really been talked about ever. And now all of a sudden he's playing for Team Italy.
Yeah,
in the World Baseball
We
Classic.
didn't talk about it a lot, but Joel actually played for Team USA.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I mean, guys will.
What was the? Remember, he that was after it was rejected that he had not signed the contract.
He tried
to sign the contract with France, and he was willing to reject any other country if they would sign the contract.
But if you're the fifth
God bless
best,
America.
If you're the fifth best quarterback in the NFL or that's interested in doing this event, and you can get some type of dual citizenship exemption, and you still want to play in the event, because I imagine it's going to be a draw for some of these guys once big names go, that I think you will see it get more competitive.
Yeah, look, and it's in L.A.
You all right there?
Yeah, it's in L.A., so, like, that's going to be – it's not like you're, uplifting your life to a country for weeks.
He'll love it.
But Jim checks in our YouTube chat thinking that Jalen will not even be the quarterback of the team in 2028 because there will be other quarterbacks.
Well, there's 2 years. It'll be 2 years. So he's saying in the next 2 years it won't be Jalen Hurts?
No, not for the Eagles.
No, I'm saying it won't be Jalen Hurts?
I think it's Jalen because he was literally the face of the commercial. You don't think that's already kind of been
like Jalen, you're going to be the guy.
Worked on. Now, look, if Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson also want to play, then maybe it's Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson over Jalen Hurts. I get what Jim's saying, but the point I'm making is the fact that he was on the commercial when they announced that it was coming to L.A., the Olympics, and that flag football was going to be a part of it. I almost kind of just assume that Jalen Hurts will be in the Olympics in one way or another.
I don't believe it's good. I believe Jalen will have the right of first refusal. I think that was part of. In fact, I may be incorrect. I believe that was sort of part of this discussed. That
I have no idea.
He's sort of the face of he's sort of face of this.
Okay.
That he agreed to be the face of the whole effort on something. So we'll see.
Okay.
I'd love to say I'm watching. I think it's. I'm watching. There's no. Why wouldn't I watch? Well, go watch the Marlins and the Phillies.
Well, no, I would if there's a.
Am I going to watch Marlins Phillies and go? I can't watch. Can't miss Marlins Phillies.
I think I'd rather watch two countries play basketball than flag football.
I'd rather watch the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right.
Yeah, I watch sports I don't care about in the Olympics. I'll definitely be watching flag football.
Oh, they see that's an interesting way of looking at it. Is it was so weird? Is it '96? I think I went to like 14 events and I covered another bunch of them. I thought I'm hooked on Olympics forever. I have watched
barely any of it.
I've watched probably 4 hours of the Olympics since '96.
Yeah, I don't give a damn about downhill skiing, but Lindsey Vonn tore her ACL, and she's going to try and compete.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to be watching her when she goes.
And you like Lindsey Vonn.
Yeah, I like Lindsey Vonn.
Not much to dislike.
There isn't. Right. There's nothing to dislike.
All right, well, we hope anybody that did enjoy the Pro Bowl yesterday just had the time of their life. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
All right, nothing on the Pro Bowl on the text line. An interesting question from Matt from Ontario, speaking about the international aspect. He wants to know about an Eagles question I think is intriguing. Knowing what we know now, was it a mistake taking Jahad Campbell in last year's draft? Because I don't want to see Nakobe Dean leave.
No, he was best player available. He was a guy. Let's not do revisionist history. If it wasn't for his injury, there were people talking about him going, top 20?
Top 20 and everything. I like the best player available argument, and that is absolutely true. If anybody tries to spin to you that he wasn't, he was.
Yeah.
Here's the only problem I've got with it. I wanted the replacement, and I banged the drum over and over. I wanted the replacement for Lane Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you could have easily gotten Lane Johnson's replacement. And I also think that you could have then done something. Linebackers, you had just spent huge money on
Zach
linebacker. Bond. I think I would have taken my risk with Nakobe and not done that.
Okay.
But I did not dislike the pick.
No,
because I love Jahad Campbell's game, and I thought that it was a value pick because I do believe he got drafted later than his value.
Right. Plus, it gives you the ability to move on from Nakobe Dean. Like, you're not sitting here going, oh, crap.
Oh, I'm
Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Yeah. Well, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is not ready to step in as a starter in the NFL.
No. But you know that Jahad Campbell can.
But if Jahad Campbell, if they get hurt and you have to use Trotter as a starter, you're exploited.
Right, I got you.
You're going to be exploited.
If Nakobe Dean got hurt, which, He did.
He did.
You still would have had to go on to have Jeremiah
Right.
Trotter Jr. At least you had N'Kobe Dean. What else we got on the text line, Con?
We have a lot of people checking in on our Super Bowl discussion.
good.
Please.
It being the anniversary of Super Bowl 52. So check in from Dom in Florida, who says, I love both Super Bowl 52 and 59, but 52 is a little more special to me because it was on my wife's birthday, and she sacrificed us going out so we could stay home with our family to watch the game, and we were still living in Philly, and we went to the parade.
Okay, wait a minute.
nice.
Wait a minute. Can I just? Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't think that's a big sacrifice for the wife. Am I being bad there?
If she's completely anti-sports.
No, I don't think that's a big sacrifice. The world stops for the Super Bowl and everything like that. My wife's not the biggest sports fan. She would never think that she'd say we're going out the day before or we're going out.
Sure.
I don't think that's a big sacrifice, even though I'm sure his wife's a lovely lady. I'm sure she's a lovely lady.
Plus, we don't know the age. Maybe it was a big birthday.
Yeah, it could have been like 50 or something.
I'm not giving her. No, but you can celebrate it the night before. You can have the party the night before, or something big the night before.
Well, it meant a lot to Dom, so we're glad he got.
I
a
think
chance to watch
she's
the game.
probably a lovely lady. I am not giving her a bunch of great big grades for that one. I'm just saying.
Connor and I are pro Mrs. Dom. Don't you worry.
No, she's probably a lovely lady. I'm not giving her wife points for that one.
All right, coming up next, we brought it up with Shefty. Is the 18th game coming in the NFL? The NFLPA had something to say about it. For now, it's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The big game's coming up this weekend, and there are big things going on the BetParx online sportsbook app. It's so fantastic. The big game is going to give you the opportunity to win big tickets to your local pro football team. Yeah, the big game season ticket giveaway from BetParx is here. It's got you covered for the big game. Seattle, the favorite against New England, and all new. You earn one entry for your chance to win season tickets for every $25 bet you make on the big game. So your big game wagers get you entries for a chance to win season tickets to your home state's pro football team. By the way, that can include the Birds here for you. You can win season tickets to the Birds, or if you were some reason wanting to go to the Black and Gold, you could do that if you were a Pennsylvania resident too. 50 BetParx users across all states are going to be randomly drawn to receive BetParx bonus bets, and one grand prize winner is going to receive season tickets to their local pro football team. Now, terms and conditions apply. Go read about them at betparx.com. And by the way, start scouting out those prop bets. Connor has been really studying the coin flip. He'll be ready to reveal that on Friday. You got to be 21 plus and located in Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan. It's the big game season ticket giveaway only from BetParx. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Eagles hire
hard time, but they're really not that bad. At least most of the time. Now let's listen to more Kincade and Salciunas before I change my mind.
It is 8:47 here on Kincade and Salciunas on this Wednesday morning. Midway point to Super Bowl 60. Don't forget, really cool opportunity for you to hang out with two cool cats.
What?
Connor Thomas and Ray Dunn.
That's correct.
That sounds like a fun party.
Go hang out with them. The Fanatic, Connor and Ray, will be at the West at Caesars Atlantic City. You guys got the pregame live broadcast and watch party. Tailgate game day party at the West includes a live DJ, oversized games, interactive competition, swag giveaways, and an open bar with buffet service. That's the part that intrigues me the most. Register on site for a chance to win some huge prizes, including an ultimate fan cave experience at the West and a VIP Vegas getaway. I know Johnny's intrigued by that. Learn more or book your experience at Caesars.com/AC.
Well,
Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, you mean 208 days till I get back in Vegas? I did not go in 2025, and I miss it very much.
Sorry. Well,
miss it very much.
You're going this year?
Yeah, and the best part about this whole thing, like we did the watch party last year at Patty Wax. Great time.
Hell of a time.
Part of having the Eagles in the big game is we're very, very focused on the big game.
And stressed.
This, you gotta just relax, have a good time, party.
Yeah. Enjoy the open bar and food service.
Absolutely.
Absolutely check that out. All right. Speaking of football, obviously with the big game coming up this Sunday, there's all the media stuff. We did Radio Row. You brought it up to me yesterday that yesterday, 1 year ago, was when we boarded the plane to get to New Orleans.
And we were on Radio Row this morning.
Yeah, man. It's bummer that's not the case this year. Not that we
I would not want to be there.
We weren't
this
going
year.
to San Fran and doing the show from 3 a.m. to
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Now, if
That
the Eagles
doesn't
were in
sound
it, we could have been talked into it. We could have been talked into it. It would have been hard.
Would have been pointless.
Yeah, it would have been hard.
Would have been pointless.
Yep.
Just saying. That's why they didn't make it, because they knew that it would have been pointless for us going. The NFLPA has been talking about the 18th game. Well, the league's been talking about the 18th game. And there was the quote from the interim executive, because there was the shady stuff that took place earlier this year where funds were being used, Magic City.
Strip clubs, yes.
That's a story, by the way, that did not.
It got covered up.
Yeah. I was on ESPN that day when the story broke, and it was the only time I talked about it.
Now, can I tell you something, though, for people that have not, if you've never been to Atlanta and you don't know, going to Magic City is not the same as going to any, I'm not going to disparage any place, any strip club in Philadelphia.
Sure.
It's not the same. People do go to Magic City to eat.
Right. But that was not necessarily the case.
Lou Williams.
Right. It's but I mean, it's a different thing. It's like you actually, there are people who go to Magic City to have a meal and drink and not be there necessarily for the shoe show.
Right.
Like, it's different than here where it's
you're going for a reason.
It's a little different.
But according to the documents,
right,
it wasn't just for the wings and drinks.
There were lap dances involved.
So that was like that story lasting like 5 minutes is actually kind of crazy if you think about it. But anyways, there's an interim executive director, David White, right now, and we asked Shefty about it. Quote, we have no appetite for an 18th game. The players have no appetite for an 18th game. And we say, yeah, for now. Because this is all a negotiating tactic, and it's going to be to try to get certain things that the players benefit from. And I get it. They should try to get stuff out of it. There will be an 18th game. It is coming.
You heard it from Adam.
Yeah, the 2030 is when the new CBA will be discussed, and then there's not going to be a lockout. We all know that. Like, that's not happening.
It's not happening.
There's going to be 18 games. And, look, it's the DH in the National League for me. It's not something that I'm, like, sitting here screaming for, but it's inevitable. So whenever it happens, it happens.
I hated it. I thought the DH was going to really sort of ruin baseball for me. Like, I really did. I was one of those people that just was like, I hate it. Don't ever want to see it. I got to tell you, it's not. It hasn't influenced my life in the least.
Yeah.
But the rule changes in baseball, I begged for. I wanted to see them, and I've loved them.
Yeah, no, they've
great.
seen
the benefit of it. The faster games have clearly helped baseball.
Somebody posted a video of the Astros World Series, I think, from a couple years ago. I forget who it was. It wasn't the Phillies. And there was a 5.5 minute at bat.
It's amazing.
Jose Altuve, it was a late, and it wasn't the ninth inning. It was like the seventh inning, but it was a high leverage situation. And one at bat took 5.5 minutes.
I'm telling you though, I blame a guy, real good guy. Saw him in college. Then after, Nomar Garciaparra.
Yeah,
I blame the whole OCD stuff that was allowed to go on.
Yeah,
and then kids all started to come up with their little routines, and then it became step out of the box every other pitch, and that was allowed to go on. It never should have been allowed to go on.
It got worse and worse and worse.
Never should have been allowed.
But the 18th game, it's happening, right? So it's one of these, we can debate it whether or not you want it or not till we're blue in the face. It's almost a pointless debate. Like it is. Like I think more football, as much as me personally I would like it, I do worry about the health of players. I mean, look at the offensive line of the Eagles. Like they were banged up because they played into the Super Bowl. Now that's going to happen. But it doesn't matter. Like my arguments against it do not matter.
Yeah, but it's a good thing in all aspects. Like we talked about it with Schefter. So if you're a football fan, you get to watch more games.
Yeah.
If you're a football player, you're going to get 2 bye weeks.
Sure.
So the extra rest period. You're already playing 17. Also, you get to have teams go 500 again, which I like that. That's a dumb sports brain thing, but that's important to me.
I agree with you.
I like that. I want that.
It's visually. When you look at the standings and you see, not 8 and 8 at the end, you see 8 and 9 or 9 and 8. It is weird. I agree with you.
Plus, you cut down on the preseason games, which don't mean anything to anyone now anyway.
Right.
So
you just
you're
start
getting better
earlier.
value. So guys who are out there and ladies out there buying their season tickets are getting better value for what they're paying.
And the league makes more money. It's a win-win. The only thing is the players are going to see the 18 games and carp about it.
And
at the end of the day, it's going to happen.
And they're going to give you the BS about, we're worried about injuries. We have injury fears. And then once they're offered the more money, they'll be like, yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And you know what we like? We would like less practice time, which is what I told Adam about. Less practice time and more vacation, which, by the way, I believe is what you could easily trace to more of the early season injuries. And the less practice time can be traced to the more of the soft tissue injuries, which is what has been more rampant in football. The soft tissue stuff, because they're less conditioned.
Yeah, that's been a big talking point.
But they haven't been able to trace anything to the 17th game leading to a bunch of more injuries. It just hasn't been. It has not been the case.
All right, coming up next, we'll check a couple of our text messages on any of our topics today. Super Bowl 52 versus 59. There's
shocked
a lot of 59 love, man.
I'm Connor. A lot of people like us. They're like us.
There are also people loving 52. There's no wrong answer here. It's just fun. Okay, then I guess everything's the wrong answer.
All right, coming up next, we'll check some more text messages. Also, we will speak with Kevin Kurz, who covers the Flyers for The Athletic. What is going on with the Flyers brass and Matvei Michkov? And one more thing. 6 weeks ago, John Kincade said something that led to a big debate on the show. I don't even know if you remember what I'm talking about, but I want to get your updated opinion on it next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Vladar closes down the Caps. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both found wins last night as the teams draw closer to their mid-season breaks. For the Flyers, it was Dan Vladar having an outstanding night in net as they beat the Capitals 4-2. A great call by Tim Saunders over on WMMR.
At the center ice, here comes Watkins right back in. Duhaim's got a man going to the net. Oh, a great save by Dan Vladar, closing the 5-hole as Lapierre tried to tuck him through him, and Vladar said nothing doing.
So it's nice to see the Flyers get some momentum heading into the Olympic break. They got one more game before that. They'll host the Senators on Thursday. They're off tonight. The Sixers are also off tonight, but they put in some work last night, taking down the Warriors 113-94. VJ Edgecombe 25 points in the win. And as of today, we're officially 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater for the Phillies. Baseball season right around the corner. The NBA trade deadline tomorrow. A lot of stuff going on. And by the way, I think it's Super Bowl Sunday? That's right. Busy time of the sports calendar. We're going to talk to Kevin Kurz coming up at 9:05 for his thoughts on what's going on with the Flyers. Covers them for The Athletic. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Score unbeatable deals and get matched with the perfect bed. They make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic.
You tune in Middays with Marks. You guessed it with me, John Marks. That's coming up at 10 o'clock. Let's get back to more of Kincade and Salciunas right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Earlier today on Kincade and Salciunas.
So change is coming, bottom line, for the Philadelphia Eagles. And it goes back to what Adam Schefter said on January 14th, especially after the way the season played out. He says expect more change than normal. But one of my questions is, how much change can they actually do if they want to keep the window open? Because Dallas Goedert, 2 years ago, I think a lot of us were thinking would be done. He would not be playing for the Eagles in 2026. Now I'm at a point where you pretty much freaking need to have him in 2026 because you don't have his replacement.
Okay, ask your own question to yourself in a different way. Who do you believe really affects the Eagles' window being open? Goddard, to me, is a position that if you don't get a quality tight end, either in free agency, like you go sign a veteran who can fit into what Mannion wants to do, or you draft a young, talented tight end, which is what I think they will do, who affects the window being open?
He's probably the biggest one out of all those players that were mentioned.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think any do other than him.
Really?
Yeah. I love Nakobe Dean.
Right, I know you do.
If Nakobe Dean walks, I don't think I'm going, man, chances to get back to the Super Bowl? Done. Finished. No, I don't buy it.
Now back to the show.
Yep, we've had Eagles discussion today here on Kincade and Salciunas of the players that you expect to leave, which would be the biggest impact. There are some people out there checking our YouTube chat at the beginning of the show this morning that don't expect any of like the big guys to leave. Expect Dallas Goedert to return, A.J. Brown to return, Jalen Phillips to return. In a perfect world, I would love all of that, John. I would love for Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Phillips to all return. Jalen Phillips, according to Spot Track, his expected value is over $17.5 million per season.
Goodbye.
That's probably not going to happen here.
Goodbye. Yeah,
A.J.
that's
Brown's
done.
been talked about being traded for a long time now. That, unfortunately, is probably going to be the case. Not wanted by any of us.
Yeah, no one wants it.
Most likely going to happen. So of the three names that are talked about the most, Dallas Goedert probably the most likely to come back because they haven't drafted his replacement yet, which they should have done 2 years ago.
I think that's fair.
So that's been our Eagles discussion.
Yeah, I don't think Jalen Phillips is coming back.
I don't think so either. He's just going to get too much money. And you got Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt still on your rookie deals. You're going to do that.
And you're hoping that those guys are going to continue to – well, I don't know. I don't know if Jalen Hunt ascended this year. That's one of the things we'll talk to. You think he ascended?
Yeah. Look, I'm looking for growth out of a guy that was not a D-end in college. He was a safety in college.
Okay, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
And what he did, and part of it was my worry going into the season. I was really, really worried that my starting edge rushers were Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt. I was really worried that Jalen Hunt was not a rotational guy. He played really, really well, especially after the Nolan Smith injury happened. You're going, man, all they have is Jalen Hunt. And he played pretty well.
I'm going to be shocked if they don't go and not shopping at Big Lots, but shopping at like a Target Walmart.
Okay.
For a DN.
Yeah, they're going to have to.
They're going to find somebody that they're not going to go with the worry about. We're not waiting for the trade deadline. And it's not going to be a bold free agent market this year. And you heard it from Adam.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd heard too, is that there's not going to be. Don't expect free agency this year to be like everybody salivating.
No, it's going to be more so trades or asking Brandon Graham to come back for another season.
Which he might. They tried last year, though, with Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
But for the Jalen Hunt conversation, did they have a good defense this last year? We all would say the Eagles had a good defense.
They did.
Good defense.
He led them in interceptions and sacks.
Yeah.
I'd say that's essential.
Yeah, I think he had a very good sophomore season, again, for a guy that didn't play the position throughout college.
That's the best point.
Yeah.
On your point.
Thank you very much. I've just been killing it today. You guys have just been wrong on everything else.
You've been off on a few others, though.
All right, we're about to be joined by Kevin Kurz, who covers the Flyers for The Athletic. And obviously, you dropped the little nugget at the end of the show yesterday that became a national story about Matvei Michkov and the way people have been talking about him. People being Rick Tocchet and Danny Briere publicly.
Yeah, and then Danny Briere had to come out last night and do damage control before the game.
And why was there damage control? Because damage was created.
Because damage was created, and it was really downplayed yesterday. I can tell you this, within the agent community, it wasn't downplayed. By yesterday's end of show, I was getting a text saying, dude, like, what's going on? Like, why are the Flyers doing this again? Why is this happening again?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, you can't be doing this.
Just dealt with it with Cutter Gauthier not that long ago.
You cannot downgrade your own assets. You cannot do this. And I've criticized Dave Dombrowski for it, and I'm a big believer in Danny Briere, big believer in what Keith Jones has done. I want to believe in Rick Tocchet, but all I heard was people clutch their pearls about John Tortorella.
Yeah, and how hard
and he was going to, he's going to ruin Matvei Mishkov. Really? Might want to revisit that commentary.
All right. Well, after we speak with Kevin, there's a debate that I want to see if there's an update from you.
Okay.
From 6 weeks ago.
Wow. Okay, good.
Yes, this is how crazy my mind works sometimes. But joining us now, does a great job covering the Flyers for The Athletic. To talk about it all, our man Kevin Kurz joins us. Kevin, good morning. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good, Kev.
We're doing good. Obviously, the Flyers were a big talking point nationally yesterday because of the story that came out that maybe some people weren't too thrilled with how Matvei Mishkov was being portrayed, especially during the Carnival on Sunday. So what's the latest that you have heard from the Mishkov camp and the Flyers camp?
Yeah, Danny Briere had, pretty hastily called press availability yesterday about 15 minutes before the game. The noise had just gotten a little bit too loud for his liking. That's how it came off. The big question with Mishkov is, obviously, it's been said a few different times by Rick Tocchet that he came to camp out of shape. That's something that I think everyone's heard by now. But, we're also, 4.5, 5 months in the season now. So the question is, why is he still out of shape? Why is this conditioning still an issue? And, the way it was explained to me is that he did come into camp out of shape. That's an indisputable point at this stage. His body fat percentage when he came in, I think, was particularly concerning to the team. So, the first thing he had to do was he had to lose weight and he had to get his cardio levels up. And because he had to focus on that, he couldn't focus as much on the strength part. So, and that's really the key to his game, right? Because he's not a blazing fast skater. He's one of those guys that has to be able to body opponents off the puck, win battles along the wall. And he was doing that last year, and he's just not able to physically do it this year, along with the fact that he's still learning the 200-foot game, turning the puck off over too often. He was taking some pretty bad penalties there for a while, which he's cleaned up a little bit lately. So, it's very nuanced, but it really just starts with the fact that he came into camp so out of shape that it's just been a season-long process for him to get everything back to where it should be. And it's probably going to take the rest of the season, which was something that Briere told us yesterday.
A member of the of another NHL team spoke to me yesterday and said, they're hearing it from the agent community, though, is what are the Flyers doing downgrading one of their own assets publicly like that with some of the commentary that's been going on about this? At some point, Rick's got to stop talking about him being out of shape coming into camp and everything. When does tough love start to be detrimental, in your opinion? And this is just your opinion. When does it become detrimental?
I thought the tone in Tocchet's voice, that's probably what if I were Rick Tocchet's boss, that's probably the first thing I would say is don't come across as so annoyed with Matvei Mishkov, right? Like, he's such an important part of the future. The way I think that the tone of his voice, I think, was something that could be toned down a little bit. So, as far as hurting their asset, I mean, he's not going anywhere. And Briere said that again yesterday. He's got 1 year left in his entry-level deal. If I'm Matvei Mishkov and I want to get paid coming out of my entry-level deal, well, I'm going to have a good summer and I'm going to come back and have a big third year. So I get a big payday coming out of that. So, let's just get down to brass tacks. That's something I think that would drive every player, including him. So, but even coming out of that entry-level deal, he's going to be under team control for 7 seasons. I mean, I don't think there's any fear or anything that he's going to run back to the KHL or anything like that. The Flyers aren't going to trade him. I mean, that's one of the main reasons they didn't get too deeply into the Quinn Hughes discussions, is that they were never willing to part with someone like him because they still view him as a cornerstone for the future. And if you look at, there's a number of very high-end NHL players that had tough second seasons. Nathan MacKinnon is one of them. He's now maybe the best player in the league. So, they're still looking at this in a long-term perspective. But, to get back to your original question, I think Tocchet could come across a little softer whenever he talks about Michkov. And, frankly, he did a little bit last night after the game when he was asked about Michkov, and he pointed out that he did make a very good play on the Flyers' first goal.
Kevin Kurz of The Athletic joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas to talk about the Flyers. Now, when stories like this come out, it splits the fan base a lot, or it makes the fan base one-sided, because if there is a player to be excited about, it's Matvei Michkov. And there are people, fair or unfair, that are disappointed with the progression of the Flyers' rebuild. So I'll ask you, Kevin, where do you think they are in the rebuild? Are things going the way you expected them to go? And for people that think they should be winning now, what is your message to them?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason to be frustrated a little bit with the rebuild right now, and I think what adds to the frustration is the way this season has gone. The Flyers, they played the Anaheim Ducks on January 6th, I believe, Cutter Gauthier game, and the fans were all into it, and they won that game in blowout fashion. And, at that point, I think they were 3 or 4 points out of first place in their division. And since then, the wheels have come off, right? Even though they won last night, before that they had lost 11 of 13 games. So I think that part added to the frustration. And as you guys know, a lot of fans around here, they don't start to pay attention to the Flyers until the Eagles are done. So the fact that their decline pretty much coincided with Eagles season ending, that probably made everything a little bit louder. Sure. This is an important season because they turned the corner on the rebuild supposedly this summer, right? By adding players, they went out and got Trevor Zegras really cheap. They added Dan Vladar in goal, who's been very good. Christian Dvorak, who they extended, and they frankly, he could have been a high value asset ahead of the trade deadline had they not extended him. So I get that there's some frustration there because pretty much as soon as they extend Christian Dvorak is when the decline starts and the losing starts. So I get it. And, on top of that, the 2026 free agent class that was supposed to be so robust, all of those top-end guys have ended up re-signing with their respective teams. So there's not much they can go out and spend money on this summer. So I think fans are rightly asking the question, well, what are they going to do? Where are they going to go here? So, from that said, I think we got to let the rest of the season play out here. We got to see how the rest of these young players finish out the season, including Matvei Michkov. He could come back out of this Olympic break. He could train his butt off over the next 2 weeks when the league shuts down, come back and have a great final 6 weeks of the season, and that might calm the waters a little bit. But I get the frustration, right? But the one thing I would caution against is this is year 3 of the Briere regime, so I think you have to separate what happened under Chuck Fletcher and how Danny and Keith Jones in the new regime is handling things. And they've said that this is going to be potentially a really slow, long drawn-out process, but they're just not going to rush anything, and they're not going to make any rash moves that cost them future assets just for, rental players, for example.
Kevin, I think your last statement's really, really strong, especially for people understanding a rebuild. But as I look at it this morning, they're 27 points behind last year's, like where last year finished. They're at 60 right now. Last year they got 87 points. And John Tortorella did not have Dan Vladar. They never gave him. I can only imagine last year's team, to me, is a playoff team. If they had Dan Vladar, they would have been an easy playoff team. And to me, is Rick Tocchet getting as much out of the roster as John Tortorella got out of the roster?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It could, because goaltending was the biggest reason that they missed the playoffs last year. But also, they were actually in a decent spot in January before Briere started selling some guys. Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee traded. Scott Lawton was basically the glue in the dressing room that held everything together. They dealt him, and that's when they really fell off a cliff. Was in March, and then it ultimately cost Torts his job. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Now when you look at the goaltending here, if you actually look at their goaltending between Dan Vladar and Sam Ersson, it's still near the bottom of the league because Sam Ersson has been so bad once again.
He's been atrocious.
So that's a fair point to criticize the front office for, because both Danny Briere and Keith Jones said before the season started that they still have faith in Sam Ersson. They think he's going to get it together, and he just hasn't. And so that was an error in judgment. That's an absolutely fair criticism. But I think even if you look at the team save percentage, it's still in the low 20s in terms of the league rankings, and that just tells you how bad the backup position has been. And Vladar missed, I think 4 or 5 games it was last week, and that affected them. It's a fair question. I think where they're at right now, a lot of guys have slumped at the wrong time, and I think the schedule hasn't helped them. They're fatigued, and there's games every other day, and I do get the sense that that's really hurt this team. But but yeah, I want to dig into that a little bit more, but. Again, I think you want to see how they're going to perform coming out of the Olympic break here. The playoffs are probably a fantasy at this stage, but you do want to see what you want to see out of this team. I think more than anything is growth from the young players, and Tocchet has gotten that from some other guys that aren't Mitchkov, right? Cam York, Jamie Drysdale have improved. Noah Cates, we've seen in fits and spurts. Owen Tippett, it looks like a completely different player than he did last season. Bobby Brink. So, that's what Tocchet, I think, is going to be judged on more than anything when you look back at this season, is have these young players taken a step forward. And it's a little bit of a mixed bag right now, because especially when you consider Mitchkov is such an important part. But, as we mentioned, Mitchkov himself, I think, has played a large role in that too, just by coming to camp not prepared.
Follow him on Twitter, K Kurz, KURZ NHL.
Thanks, Kev.
Kevin, we appreciate the time.
Yeah,
keep
sure,
the great work.
Anytime, thanks.
There is
His
Kevin
stuff-
Kurz from The Athletic.
His coverage of understanding a rebuild is honestly a master's class in understanding the proper perspective of a rebuild. This is year 3.
Yeah, the
and
process.
Even though I'm sounding impatient about it, this should not be a year where Rick Tocchet gets a free pass on if they end up with like 82 points. It's a step back, and it shouldn't be. They had 87 points last year in a year where they did not have Dan Vladar.
By the way, they were at 50 January 10th?
Correct. And exactly.
Or was it before? Did they reach 50 before that Ducks game? We were talking
they were right
about
around there. I mean, it was like, to me, this is not like you're not judging this year on. I did not think they were a playoff team this year. I don't think they should have been a playoff team this year. But, I mean, Torts had them at 87 points last year.
Right.
And that was a team that he got gassed. They gassed him as being like, and remember, it was John Tortorella's going to ruin Matvei Mishkov.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a big talk.
Yeah, this Michkov thing, though, right now that we're in, feels like the first real bout of impatience. And it's also with the team's performance overall that we've seen in this rebuild growth.
And as Kevin points out, though, and as I'm going to point out, too, and I think you guys agree, the Mishkov story begins and not begins and ends, but begins with him.
Yeah, of course.
If he's in shape, Tocchet's never getting any crap for it. Danny Briere's not getting any crap for his comments. If Matvei Mishkov had conducted himself like a professional,
right,
none of this is happening. So he is to blame first and foremost for any of this. But just because one thing goes bad, you gotta do your business better. Don't degrade your own assets publicly.
Bit of NFL news here before I bring up a debate that took place 6 weeks ago.
What's that?
Frank Reich back at it, man.
Oh, no.
Happy anniversary.
Jets are hiring former Panthers and Colts head coach and, of course, Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles OC as their offensive coordinator. So Frank Reich, the OC of the New York Jets. How about that?
Wow.
I was not clamoring for him to come back here. So just for the record. But he goes to the New York Jets with Aaron Glenn and who plays quarterback for that team? Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Who's playing quarterback?
Like, I don't know what they're going to – I honestly don't know what they're going to do.
If you're Frank Reich, look, I get a paycheck's a paycheck.
The thing is Frank Reich is still getting paid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, so then he's working just to get above what
a job's a job.
He's 64.
Maybe he's bored.
Frank.
It could be.
Frank.
The Jets.
Frank.
It's like that's like
Frank, do you
it's
know
like Rich Hill pitching for the minor leagues
Frank,
last
you
year?
know
Like,
all
bro,
that,
you're 45.
Frank, do you know all that money you have? Wow, in 3 years, 4 years?
Go golf.
Go
man.
golf.
Go
lay at the beach, for God's sakes.
Oh God, that's like sad.
I I would picking and choosing a spot is different. That's not the spot.
Jets.
Wow.
I'm sad. Like,
I'm sad for him too.
I
a
like
little bit.
him. Like as a
I do. Yeah,
as a
I do
human
too.
being.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
As an individual.
Wow, that's incredible. At some point.
Hey, speaking of the anniversary, coming up next, during the break, the three of us will each come up with a play.
Sorry.
From Super Bowl 52.
What was that?
Fader was all the way up. My bad.
That we would like to relive.
I thought it was for effect.
Connor, I know they're all saved somewhere. So the three of us will each pick a play that we would like to relive. We will play the three highlights from Super Bowl 52 as today's the 8-year anniversary of it. Also, 6 weeks ago, there was a heated debate on this show. 6 years ago. 6 weeks ago, sorry. I wonder if John still feels the same way. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
When something feels off, go to the doctor. And then when you get a prognosis from your doctor or a diagnosis, if cancer is entered into your family, go see Dr. John Sprandio Jr. or Sr. or all the consultants in medical oncology and hematology. They are the best. Him and his team are going to get you the answers that you need fast. They offer quick consults, clear communication, more importantly, an individualized plan that's going to let you know exactly what to expect, and, as I am living proof, are going to get you to the finish line with a successful result. Now, the protocol that Dr. Sprandio led me through was one that another healthcare system in town told me they didn't think was going to be a good choice for me. Well, in retrospect, Dr. Sprandio had the right answer. Their Mainline Cancer Center in Newtown Square is awesome. They've got 3 offices across the region. You're going to find free parking, easy access, no elevators or garages at any one of their locations. And since they're an independent practice, they can deal with healthcare systems all across the region simply, and they work seamlessly with them. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology, visit them at cmoh.org and take that first step towards peace of mind.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A 2-win night. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers and Flyers both found victories last night as the teams get closer to their midseason breaks. For the Sixers, it was a 113-94 win over the Warriors late last night, and B.J. Edgecombe led the way. A big scoring night for the rookie.
103-86 Sixers, 2 seconds. VJ hangs, fires, puts it up and in. An incredible shot by Edgecombe, and the Sixers lead 105-86. VJ with 23.
He'd finished the game with 25. Great call by Tom McGinnis there here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Sixers have the night off tonight. The trade deadline in the NBA is tomorrow. The Flyers had a nice night of their own. They beat the Caps 4-2. Dan Vladar was great in net for the Orange and the Black. They have one more game before the Olympic break. They'll host the Senators tomorrow night. They're also off tonight. And as of today, we're officially just 1 week away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater for the Phillies. Baseball season is right around the corner. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Score unbeatable deals and get matched with the perfect bed. They make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, it's 9:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5. The Fanatic 8 years ago, Super Bowl 52. One of the best moments of our lifetimes. The Eagles winning their first Super Bowl ever in franchise history. We're going to play a couple of highlights from it, but there's some things that I want to unpack real quick.
Your lifetimes. Well, how old were you when it happened? You were 20. You were 23, 24, 23.
Yeah.
I'm just chuckling.
Still one of the best.
I know. I'm just chuckling that you had to wait 23 years to see it. And you're like, one of the best moments of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
You spoiled brats.
No, I'm not saying I'm not spoiled.
No, I know you are. It's just
one of the best moments of my lifetime.
It is. It's
regardless of the age.
It is. You just spoiled brats.
All right, a couple of things. First, sad day in the media world. I know a lot of people hate the media, but the Washington Post, major layoffs this morning. There was an email that went out last night. Don't come into work. Be on a Zoom call at 8:30. And now there's a lot of reports that they did massive layoffs. It's been a big talking point. The Washington Post not sending coverage of spring training for the Nationals this year, which is just insane. So that's another tough day in the media world where that happens.
Know your audience. Know your audience. It's tough. It's tough in today's day and age. The newspaper industry is one that they will study forever.
Yeah.
Is that it is the industry that did not outrun, it didn't adjust to technology. It didn't. They thought, the newspaper industry thought, we don't have to charging for content and everything like that. Are you kidding me? We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
They didn't understand.
That's a shame.
It's
another
terrible.
thing. If I do this, now you guys can see it. YouTube can see it. But if you're driving in your car or listening on the app.
What are you doing?
And I do this. What does that sound like?
You're crinkling
a
paper.
wrapper. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what?
A wrapper. I just used the restroom, and I heard this sound in a toilet.
Okay, that's
hell
disgusting.
Yes. This is a great move.
Now, I was talking to Ray about it.
Someone's eating in the stall?
Could have been dude wipes. Could have been, or somebody was eating in the stall.
That's ridiculous.
Now, it was not our floor.
That's filthy.
So it was nobody associated with the stations. I go upstairs because I like to pump the blood through the legs, going up the steps a little bit.
That's filthy.
I heard this noise.
No, that's filthy.
In the stall. And I had to get out of there as soon as I possibly
could. Oh, my
could.
gosh. Who would be eating in a oh, gosh.
See, I don't do it in a public bathroom, but if I'm at home sometimes and I'm hungry, listen, cut out the middleman.
Dude.
No, please don't tell me you do that.
Sometimes, yeah.
Dude, that's filthy.
That's disgusting, dude.
I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment.
And it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, dude, that's foul.
That's foul. You don't eat in the.
That's not guys being bros.
That's life maxing,
that's
bro.
Disgusting. Don't
cut down time. I'm a busy guy.
Filthy.
Don't ever do that. That's disgusting.
Try and stop me.
There was a Connor. They just did a thing on one of the. They have Good Morning America has an afternoon show, and they just did a thing the other day about how people who have the least responsibility in life are the ones who complain about that they don't have time. The people who have the least responsibility. So people who are single, or people who are single, no spouse, no kids, are the ones that complain the most about not having. Man, I got to maximize my time. I don't have enough time. Whereas the people who complain the least about time are the ones who are running around with their head like a chicken with their head.
Well, joke's on them because I got damn 3 jobs and 2 kids, and I'm looking at both of them.
I didn't even realize that. Nice. Call the sitter.
All right, one other thing. Curious. I don't want to spend too much time on it because this literally was an entire show when it happened. It was an organic debate that took place 6 weeks ago. Do you remember what it is?
No.
6 weeks ago.
And it was a whole show.
It turned into one.
Okay.
Because of 2 words. Those 2 words were by far. Do you know where I'm going at with this? My brain works in mysterious ways. I remember things way too much.
Yeah,
I forget.
I know
okay,
exactly
now the
what
weird
you're
thing
thinking.
is
I forget what my wife tells me 5 minutes later, but I remember what John Kincade said 6 weeks ago.
Something sort of is ringing a bell about by far, but I don't remember.
The more dominant Eagles era.
6 weeks ago, the Eagles won the division.
And it's by far.
Back-to-back years.
Mm-hmm.
And we got into a discussion about the 5-year window that this Eagles team has gone on, making the playoffs all 5 years. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl championship. And the big thing was the back-to-back division winners, which has not happened since that run in 2000. Mm-hmm. I asked you, well, hold on a sec, because remember, I was down on the Eagles.
Sure. Absolutely.
I was really down. I was like, well, what happens if, hopefully not, I think I probably did the whole God forbid, the Eagles lose in the first round of the playoffs again. Because in this 5-year stretch, yes, you've been to 2 Super Bowls, you won 1. You've also been eliminated in the wild card round 3 times, whereas that era, the only thing that bothered me was when you said by far.
It's by far.
They got to 4 straight NFC championship games and got to a Super Bowl.
By far.
You still stand with by far.
Not even hesitating. By far.
Connor, does you were with me where you were not saying by. We all agreed.
It's this era, but
we
not
all agreed
by far.
this era. But the by far was
it's
what.
Still
so
by
you
far.
stand by it. By far.
Absolutely by far. Even though I think that it was depressing the way this ended. But by far.
It was depressing how 23 ended. There have been 2 depressing endings early. Now, those were depressing endings, too. You could speak to it more than I can.
Yes.
Tampa and
Believe
Carolina.
Me.
And all,
Don't even get me started.
All that. That was depressing within its own,
they were terrible.
own right. But the by far, I wonder, is it still by far?
Yeah, because you have the 2 Super Bowls definitely play a part of that. Yes,
sure.
Absolutely. No question. And by far, no. Not by far. And if you remember that day, it was pretty much by far was the winner of the day by far. The public
a lot of people
I wonder if it's changed.
I know because
I wonder if people have changed by that perception.
Losing in the first round again.
Yes,
3 times. Hopefully the pattern continues where they get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
next
let's
year.
hope.
All right, 8 years ago, the Super Bowl 52, first ever in Eagles franchise history. Let's start because I know none of us picked it because it's chalky. It's of course we're all going to say it. Let's relive how it sounded on NBC. The Philly special with Nick Foles.
Oh. You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Philly special. Ready? Here we go.
This is an unbelievable call. This is like going for the onside kick against Peyton Manning because you don't want him to get the ball too many times. You don't think you can hold him out. And here we go. This could decide the game.
4th and goal. And they're going to snap it. And it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown. How do you figure?
Thanks, Al. Way to really make the most of that historic play. Historic play in Super Bowl history. How do you figure?
He was terrible. He is a legend in the business. He had a terrible broadcast.
It's a shame. People are calling out him now on Amazon how he should just hang him up. Look, he's getting a paycheck. He's going to keep doing it.
It was one of the worst broadcasts in a big spot I've ever heard.
That wasn't Amazon, Al. That was still NBC Sunday Night Football.
No, it was terrible.
Al Michaels. And we got Amazon Al. We got Amazon Al 8 years early.
He was absolutely, no matter what anybody says.
He had money on New England,
he was not enthused with the Eagles winning that game. The way that game was going, he was not enthused.
No.
It was very, very clear.
How do you figure? I don't know.
I don't know, Al.
I'm in shock, too, but come on, man. All right. What did you pick, Johnny? What was your highlight?
To me, it was one where I will make the confession, and I think I've made it before. I was saying no, yes to this.
For the moment, they're going to leave the offense on the field. Do you dare?
Have to.
Well, Doug Peterson, you got 5:48 ticking down. The ball is at the 45. It's 4th and 1. The play clock is down to 4. And they go for it. And Foles under pressure throws caught just enough for the first down. Zach Ertz, forward progress, nets him the first with 5.5 to go.
Nice pick play inside. Those big tight ends working together on that one.
The 4th down.
I will admit, no revisionist history. I'm at Bellagio in a group of people, and I am saying no, because I thought turn the ball over there on downs, which, by the way, they almost did.
Yeah.
I mean, Foles is almost grabbed there. I thought you're giving Brady the ball midfield. they would have Brady gets at least a field goal out of that. I was saying don't do it, and then it's one of those ones where you go, great call, Doug.
Right.
Great call, Doug.
And they were trailing at the time.
They were trailing by 1.
A field goal gives them a 2-point lead.
And they would have they weren't going to kick a field goal from that distance, I don't think. They weren't going to be able to kick a field goal. That was a hike.
Where were they? They were on the Eagles' 45?
Yeah, that would have been like a 70-yarder.
It was too long.
Oh, the Eagles 45.
Yeah, they're on the Eagles 45.
All right, you're right.
So, I mean, to me, and they would have given Tom Brady the ball.
Right.
Tom Brady gets 1 first down. They get 3 points.
Prime
Jake
Elliott that season.
By the way,
yes.
not. People forget he missed an extra point in that game.
Right.
Shocker.
That's a shocker.
They won anyway.
He's missed the most extra points in postseason.
Hey, you know how much different the world would be if Rob Gronkowski comes down with that touchdown catch, they get the 2-point conversion and force overtime, and we would be saying if only Jake Elliott made that freaking extra point.
Correct.
Just saying.
I mean, it's just one of those ones that to me. Did you both be honest? Did you both say go for it?
I think I was fine with it at the time because that's just what the Eagles did all year. It scared the hell out of me. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, it was because I know everyone I know tells me, oh, no, I was go for it, go for it.
I don't honestly.
And I'm like,
I can't even remember.
A lot of it was a fever dream, that game.
Yeah. My
it was
house
such
almost
a
got
wild
lit
game.
on fire during that game.
What was yours?
I had 3rd and 6. We talked about it earlier. I didn't realize it was 3rd down till I looked it up, which is another big ballsy play call going downfield to your, when the season started, 8th string running back.
3rd down and 6. That line does a good job to pass into the end zone, and it is Corey Clement. Yes, touchdown. 2 officials check with each other back of the end zone. 22 yards on what was a 3rd down and 6.
Straight down the field. That's Marquise Flowers, a 4-5 sprinter out there on him. And how many times, Al, do we come into the Super Bowl and we say, who is it? Who's the unknown?
Take a look here. Starts to lose control, and then that left foot is clearly out of bounds. But did he get the left foot down first with control? Takes it through the ground. Ball begins to wobble a bit.
The previous play will be reviewed.
You say definitively this last step, that's out.
It's out.
He's rooting.
I can't believe hearing it back. It was never out.
It was
a
never.
touchdown.
It was never.
Dude, what were they watching?
No.
It was never out.
He was rooting for an outcome. That is absolutely. If that isn't proof, he's rooting.
God.
Everything he's going, he's like, come on.
It's out.
Am I the minority that I don't remotely care the way the game was called or the way that they
reliving it, I would like to be able to relive it. Like, man, that was Bedlam at the bank.
That was a
swing
terrible,
of his life.
That was a terrible call.
Like, oh man, no, that was out.
And he's
Even
arguing
the Zach
against
Ertz touchdown. They argued.
I know people are annoyed by it. I know, I'm probably on an island. I don't care. They won the damn Super Bowl for the first time.
I'm happy that they won the Super Bowl. Connor, I want to be able to relive it and actually enjoy reliving it.
The
I have my
calls of
own
the
memories.
game are horrendous.
I don't need Al Michaels to tell me how much I loved it. I loved
Al,
it.
8 years early, Connor. All right, we'll get yours coming up next. Also, I saw an article on Fox this morning. Quick little Phillies discussion. One burning question for every team before spring training. That's the article on Fox. Do we agree with it? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Last call for football all week long. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. So today's 30% profit boost is the receiving markets. Maybe there's a third-string running back that leads the team in receiving yards, which is what Corey Clement did back on February 4th. Of 2018. Probably not going to happen this time around. But if you think Jackson Smith and Jigba is the leading receiver in this game, which I think is the safest bet to make considering he is the best receiver in this game, you can bet that and you'll get a 30% profit boost. You don't even have to bet his actual over-under, just whether or not you think he is the leading receiver in the game. All you have to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. Yesterday was the running game. The day before was the passing game for the quarterbacks. Today it's all about the receivers. So whether you're locking in early lines riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawal profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
All right, 8 years ago, the Eagles won Super Bowl 52. Johnny and I both played a highlight that we wanted to air. We all agreed Philly Special would have to play, so we played the Philly Special, Philly. The documentary, of course, comes out, the 30 for 30, comes out this Friday. We will be speaking to the director of it Friday around 9:30. Looking forward to that. She went to Penn State, so I imagine there's
I'm going to set that aside.
But I imagine there's some Eagle ties is what I'm saying.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm going to be polite to her.
So obviously we'll be celebrating that this Friday, but today is the 8-year anniversary. So we played the Philly Special. We played the Zach Ertz 4th-and-1 completion on the Eagles' own 45-yard line. I played the Corey Clement touchdown pass where Al and Chris begged and pleaded for the refs to change
Al.
change the call.
It was more Al than Chris.
Both of them saying, that's out. That's out. That's not a completion.
And it was not.
And then Connor says you don't really care about it. Dawood chimes in saying you sound like somebody that eats food on the toilet.
Guilty as charged.
So I agree with Dawood and his opinion of your take, where you don't care that the calls were absolutely horrific.
It was a horrendous. Like our Super Bowl memories, it got ruined.
It's why I go to the Kevin Harlan calls more than
Kevin Harlan
Alan Collinsworth.
My memory doesn't feel remotely ruined. I watched the game. I know how I felt in that moment. I'll never forget it.
Kevin Harlan's freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, no,
he's unbelievable.
Al and Chris were not that day. What was your call, Connor? Not that you care about it.
Oh, stop it! Don't you stop. But there are a lot of great plays. Obviously, the Brady Graham strip sack. Alshon Jeffrey had a great game. Nelson Aguilar had a really good game and a really good run. But I think this guy gets unfairly forgotten in what he contributed, not just in the game, but to the Super Bowl run in general.
Blunt is in the backfield. LeGarrette Blunt swings to the outside, inside the 10. Blunt to the end zone. Behind a Selleck block. His 11th career postseason TD.
Did that make it 12-3?
Most athletic center in football. Watch him get out in front of this play. Not only gets the initial cutoff, which you have to have on those outside zones, stays with it. One more push down the field, gets a Landon Roberts out of the way, and there you go.
Was that what was that?
So it was 9-3 at that point.
9-3 at that point.
That touchdown
because Jake
15-3
because Jake missed
that extra point.
LeGarrette Blunt was kind of the guy that they went to, like Jay Ajayi, the big acquisition, Corey Clement, the undrafted rookie, #from here, right? But LeGarrette Blunt was a dude who came in from a Patriots team that won the Super Bowl the year before. It was just the safety blanket of the offense alongside Zach Ertz, where anytime you needed him.
So
abusive runner.
I remember that season vividly. I remember being upset with his usage early on because you brought him in. Jay Ajayi wasn't there yet, right? Because they traded for him around on Halloween.
Did he not get a carry game one?
So I actually just brought up his game logs. Week 1 against Washington, 14 carries.
14.
They were splitting with him, Corey Clement, and Darren Sproles before Sproles got hurt. But Sproles eventually gets hurt, and you have to trade for Ajayi. 0 carries week 2 against Kansas City, where they lost by a touchdown. Week 3, just 12 carries. That was the Jake Elliott game-winning field goal. And then they went to L.A.
And he went off.
16 carries, 136 yards. And that was the game where you're going, see? Roll that Blunt. Remember, roll that Blunt. That was a run-the-ball signs outside of NovaCare.
Do you remember where that game was, by the way?
It was at the soccer field.
Yeah, in a soccer stadium.
The stadium was still being built, and there were reports where there were paid fans in L.A., wannabe actors that were paid to wear L.A. gear.
There are a lot of wannabe actors in L.A.
That's true. But Eagles fans traveled and took over the stadium. That's even before the Rams game where Wentz gets hurt later on in the season. But I remember LeGarrette
Was that still
Blunt.
Phillip Rivers Chargers, right? Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I think so.
Phillip Rivers was the quarterback that day, if I'm not mistaken.
Here, let me pull up.
I think
that
is
26-24 win for the Eagles, led by Carson Wentz at quarterback. Yes, Phillip Rivers, 22-38, 347, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
actually had a really good day that day.
He did, yeah.
But I remember LeGarrette Blunt not being used early on in the season. We were all kind of like, "What's going on here?" But it was Riverboat Doug, pass happy Doug, and they started running the football,
Wow.
and it worked out. So that's a good call by you. All right, the burning questions for every team in the MLB going into spring training. Do you guys want to take a stab at what the burning question Fox has for the Phillies?
Will they do well in night games after their early bird dinners?
That was not it.
I'm going to guess Wheeler's health.
See, I thought they'd go pitching too, but they went outfield. How much of an impact do Justin Crawford and Adolis Garcia make in the outfield? That's their burning question.
That's fair.
And they're surprised that they did not re-sign Harrison Bader, considering the lack of, superior talent in the outfield. Not that Harrison Bader's superior talent.
Boy, I'm telling you.
Crawford's the unknown that we're all excited about. Garcia, you're hoping turns things around. And then you got Brandon Marsh and championship-type player Otto Kemp in left field.
Such amazing what they did. You don't need anybody to improve that outfield.
People forget they signed Kyle Schwarber.
It's great.
Dave Dombrowski said that people forget that. But that's their burning question for the Phillies going into spring training. Will Justin Crawford and Adolis Garcia make an impact in the outfield?
Truck left yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, truck day. I think that's a fair question because, like, the upside of those players, like if Crawford is a 280 to 290 contact hitter where the ground ball rate doesn't kill him and he plays good defense, if Adolis Garcia uses this ballpark and shows pop that he showed in Texas, now those are huge ifs. I'm not saying like that's going to happen, but I understand that being the question you want to ask about the ceiling of this team.
We'll see. Who's batting cleanup?
I'd more ask is how is a team with one of the worst outfields in the history of any playoff teams in baseball last year, how did they not improve it this year?
They got a good club.
Got a good club.
And content.
We got a good club.
Content. The word used.
Very content. We're content. I'm glad they're content.
Content, baby. All right. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Middays with Marks coming your way next. Ray Dunn will be sitting next to Johnny Marks today.
Neither of them are content.
I don't think so. No. They're coming away next. We'll be back at it tomorrow on a Thursday, 2 hours of DeCecco, more Eagles talk, and all kinds of other fun things here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.